from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. CSN Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros open a brief two-game series with the first-place Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jeff Blum joining us for this two-game series. Alan Ashby gets the series off. Julia Morales will be along in just a few moments. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be back in some interesting times, isn't it, Brownie?
Very interesting development yesterday as the Astros have made a managerial change and a bench coach change. Bo Porter and Dave Tremblay relieved of their duties yesterday. Tom Lawless is the new interim manager, and Adam Everett is the bench coach, and Jeff Luhnow made that announcement yesterday.
You know, when you think about the relationship between a general manager and a manager, it's complicated. It's a day-to-day relationship. It really has to work perfectly. There's so many different components to it. At the end of the day, it came down to me feeling like at this point, going forward, a different leader in the clubhouse wasn't the best interest of the Astros.
Tom Lawless is that different leader, but what a whirlwind 24 hours it's been for him.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Tom Lawless probably thought his season was ending, maybe coming up and being a coach on the bench, but now he's at the helm of this ball club right now. A lot of good young talent. It's going to be an interesting time for him and those guys in that clubhouse for what's happening right now.
His first game will be against the best team in baseball right now, the Angels. They just swept a four-game series from Oakland, and they have some major weapons.
Yeah, Mike Trout's going for his third shot at the MVP title. May get it this year with the way the Angels are playing, but Albert Pujols is a guy that intrigues me the most because he's healthy. Last year had that plantar fasciitis issue, cleared that up, and now he's going out there and raking, putting up numbers, could get near that 100 RBI mark, which would make that contract kind of nice. But Mike Trout, this guy is a catalyst on this ball club. Had himself a downturn a couple weeks ago, but has turned it on of late, and the team's playing extremely well. The guy Josh Hamilton, for me, is the one that could turn this thing around and really force him into the playoffs. If his bat gets hot, he can carry a ball club.
The Angels come in, and they are at full tilt right now. And with the Astros, the September call-ups have arrived. Some faces you'll recognize are back. Julia Morales has more in just a moment.
Minute Maid Park, the Astros hosting the Angels for a quick 2-game set. Can you believe it? The final month of baseball is here, and September baseball should be interesting around this Houston Astros club with the coaching changes here recently. Tom Lawless not only has 25 guys, though, to manage. A couple more were added to the major league roster, with rosters expanding. September 1, it was expected there were going to be waves, but with Red Hawks being eliminated from the postseason, here are some of the pitchers that were called up first. Jorge De Leon, we've seen him before. Nick Tropiano and Darren Downs, of course, activated from the 15-day DL. Astros designating Paul Clemens and also David Martinez for assignment to make room there. Tropiano, though, making his major league debut after a great season in AAA. He was a PCL All-Star this season, posted 120 strikeouts and 124 2/3 innings. Here's the righty with our Geico quote of the day.
I was ecstatic, just, getting that first call up, and, he actually did it in a team meeting, so it was actually real cool. Guys kind of went wild, and, it was just a great feeling. It was an incredible dream come true.
He'll be in the pen to start, but we might see him make a start for the season's up. A few more call-ups to announce here. Position players, outfielder AT HOU is back, who performed well at AAA, just needs to do it up here. Jonathan VR did what Jeff Luhnow asked him to do, focus on every play in AAA. We'll see that here. And then the third catcher, Max Stassi, who we saw briefly at the end of last season. Tom Lawless spoke about the lineups earlier today, saying that we're going to see a few different ones as he's trying to get some of these young players at bats before the end of the season. Jose Altuve, Chris Carter, though, guys that are playing for something, expect to see them a lot before the end of the year. Coming up, first pitch between the Astros and the Angels. Brad Peacock on the mound. Don't go anywhere. We'll have it all for you next on Comcast Sportsnet.
Sportsnet is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Try Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. And by AT&T Uverse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT. Mobilizing your world. Well, the homestand continues for the Astros. They've done well so far. Now they move on and take on team number 3. They are 4-3 so far on this homestand. There's the new skipper, Tom Lawless, wearing number 1. And Adam Everett, to your right, is the bench coach. Lawless, 57 years old, appointed the interim manager yesterday. It's his 6th consecutive year with the Astros organization. Broke into the big leagues with Cincinnati in 1982. And then he was traded from Cincinnati to Montreal in 1984 for Pete Rose. His career continued in '85 with the St. Louis Cardinals. He played in 2 World Series with St. Louis in '85 and '87. In '87, with his only World Series hit, it was a big 3-run bomb off the Minnesota Twins lefty Frank Viola, and he's remembered for that. He remembers Whitey Herzog, who treated him, and Lawless said, I was the 24th or 25th man, and he treated me just as well as the top guys on the team. So I think you know where his philosophy is with that, Jeff.
Yeah, and that's what these guys do. Once they get into the major leagues, they get these managerial jobs, and they draw a lot from the guys that they played for, guys that they manage it along. But not a bad guy to follow up and have somebody with the experience of Whitey Herzog.
Mike Scioscia goes with this lineup. Cole Calhoun in right field, Mike Trout in center, Albert Pujols at first base, Josh Hamilton in left field, Howie Kendrick at second, Eric Aybar, a hot-hitting shortstop, Chris Iannetta, the catcher, Brendan Bosch is the DH, and it's Gordon Beckham at third base. The pitch will be lefty C.J. Wilson. Here is Brad Peacock. And in the last 2 starts, he has no decisions despite a good ERA, 1.74.
It's actually pitched quite well. Came out of that game in Cleveland. Some issues with that right forearm, maybe holding on to that curveball a little too tight, but walks in that last game continue to plague anything Brad Peacock tries to do.
Cole Calhoun takes strike 1. He is 0 for his last 19, but has a .278 average, 13 homers, 47 runs batted in, 2 for 26 for Cole Calhoun. And he looks at the breaking pitch down and in for a 1-ball, 1-strike count. In that last start, as you mentioned, Peacock threw 30 pitches in the first inning. He put up a 0 but got out of bases loaded trouble against Oakland and wound up with a no decision. The Astros losing it late 5-4 in the 9th inning. Peacock gets a ball hit hard down the right field line that's foul, and that takes it to 1-2 on Calhoun. This Angel club with a robust lineup is 3rd in runs scored in the American League, but has not hit all that well lately. It's been pitching that's really been getting the Angels where they've been going lately. And they were 19-10 in the month of August with a 2.83 ERA. They've won 6 in a row right now. Curveball misses. It's 2-2. Peacock stayed with the fastball and had a high percentage of the #1 pitch in that first inning of his last start. He's really been concentrating on establishing his fastball early in games. He does not know what has led to the first inning troubles.
Location.
Yeah. That pitch up and it's fouled away.
That's the crazy thing about Brad Peacock for me, is that you know what the issue is. It's all about location, and a lot of it has to do with locating that fastball, which should be a big league pitcher's easiest pitch to throw for a strike. But he falls behind in the count. He's forced to throw more fastballs in the zone.
Well, he had felt that he was tipping his pitches, and he was told that. And a few starts ago, he made some changes to try to avoid hitters seeing what was coming. He gets a swing and a miss on the curve. Jason Castro with a throw down to John Singleton, 1 out.
Take a look around Minute Maid Park and who's playing behind Brad Peacock in the outfield. Robbie Grossman in left, Dexter Fowler in center, Jake Marisnick in right field. Around the infield, Domingo at third, Gregorio Petit at short, Jose Altuve again at second, John Singleton at first, and Jason Castro working with Brad Peacock.
Adam Everett, former Astros shortstop, was really pumped up to come back and have this opportunity to be the bench coach in September. He and Tom Lawless are like-thinking middle infielders. They've spent a lot of time together in the Astros farm system. And Tom said, we speak the same language. Mike Trout is on his way to perhaps that MVP that Jeff Blum talked about. Trout taking that pitch for ball 1. Trout at .290 has 31 homers, 97 runs batted in, a .560 slugging percentage, is 3rd in the league. He has scored 92 times. And fastball misses to take the count to 2-0 on Mike Trout. It's a new career high for Trout in home runs, but he has been amazing in his early years as a major leaguer. He just turned 23 August 7th. Fastball's hit in the air. Peacock pointing up there. Here's Castro. Right there. Wow. He dropped it.
I think that got roof.
Yeah, the way he reacted, he relaxed. So that ball was no longer in play when he let that mitt down about waist high because it had hit one of those beams. was a towering shot by Trout.
It's pretty good. I remember playing against Chipper Jones. Did that one time. It ended up just staying up there. Got locked up in one of those baskets, and me and Ausmus are looking up. We just kind of went, all right, we'll just move along.
Trout puts one in the air to right center field. Dexter Fowler coming over. That one stayed up for a while as well. 2 outs. Well, Peacock has the first 2 and now moves on to Albert Pujols. Peacock has won both of his career decisions against the Angels, 2-0 with a 5.17 ERA. Pujols returning to that very good form that he's had in many of his years. 276, 24 homers, 83 runs batted in. And you mentioned it on the open that Albert Pujols has really improved. He has had some injury problems, as you detailed, that plantar fasciitis last year. He only had 17 homers, 64 runs batted in last season. This is more like the Albert Pujols people have grown accustomed to seeing. He takes ball 1.
Yeah, I don't think the average is going to be at the 320s or above 300s just because the wheels aren't there like they used to be. But having that lower half in Albert Pujols' swing is what makes him so effective. And as long as he's driving the ball out of the ballpark and driving in runs, they're going to be happy with his contract.
Breaking pitch evens the count at 1-1. Pujols, one of the best players around, and especially at clutch time, he continues to be the man that the Angels would love to see at the plate. Sharp curveball misses. That takes the count to 2-1. The appeal went down to Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, at first. Dan Bellino is the home plate umpire tonight. Pujols needs to score 1 more run to have 1,500 for his career. It's Bellino, Kellogg, Brian O'Nora, and DJ Rayburn rather are the umpires. Fastball, and the shift is on. That puts the shortstop Petit in position to take care of out number 3. 1-2-3 first for Peacock. The Astros come up against C.J. Wilson in just a moment. And here is the lineup for Tom Lawless. It's brought to you by Jack in the Box. Robbie Grossman is the leadoff man and left fielder. It's Jose Altuve at second base. He's on a 9-game hitting streak. Dexter Fowler moves up to the number 3 spot tonight. He's in center field. The DH, Chris Carter, is the cleanup man. Then it's catcher Jason Castro, third baseman Matt Dominguez, right fielder Jake Marisnik, first baseman John Singleton batting 8th, Gregorio Petit, the 9-hitter, and the shortstop.
On the mound for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, C.J. Wilson. See his numbers in his last 3 starts against the Astros, and actually last time he went out there against the Astros only lasted 4 1/3, giving up 6 earned runs. You can see that ERA pretty high at 7.2. Likes to fish around the zone, get guys to chase, so expect a lot of pitches and a lot of guys playing behind him, maybe getting on their heels a little bit. Around the outfield, Josh Hamilton, Mike Trout, Cole Calhoun. Across the infield, Gordon Beckham at third, Eric Ibar at short, Howie Kendrick at second, Albert Pujols out there at first base, Chris Iannetta doing the catching.
In inside, and it was a sizzler outside. Air-conditioned comfort here for the fans watching Robbie Grossman step up. 210 for Robbie, 6 homers, 31 runs batted in. He has struggled as a right-handed batter so far this season and has hit 174 at home. Robbie was 0 for 7 in the Texas series. Wilson with ball 1, and that's the trend for him. He has thrown fewer first pitch strikes than any pitcher in the American League, 59%. Grossman has hit leadoff in each of the last 20 games, and he's been on base in 16 of those 20. That one misses as well. 2-0 for C.J. Wilson, who is 6-4 lifetime against Houston with a 3.79 ERA. And as Jeff mentioned, has had some rough sledding this year against the Astros. Wilson is 33 years old. He was 17-7 last year. Gets that one in for a strike, and he does favor the sliders and the cutters as well, Blummer. Wilson for his career 83-70 with a 3.70 ERA. That makes it 2-2 for Grossman. CJ was drafted by the Rangers in the 5th round in 2001. Moved along through free agency to join the Angels in 2011. Now it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. He's walked 11 in his last 17 in the 3rd innings.
Get used to this, huh, Brownie?
Yep.
He likes to go to those 3-2 counts. Doesn't really pitch to contact. Really pitches on those edges. Tries to get guys to finish, chase.
Grossman fouls it back. The Astros are 10th in runs scored. They are 4-10 against the Angels this year. They won the season series last year from the Angels 10-9. Angels have built a nice 4.5 game lead on Oakland. Grossman puts it away, foul ball, and that'll make Wilson throw yet another pitch, which will be number 8 to the leadoff man. The Astros finished the month of August, a winning month, with a 15-14 record. Their best August since 2010. Foul back. They were 17-12 in August of 2010. They've had 2 winning months now this season. Also had a winning record in May. That puts them at 59 wins, 79 losses, and they're 25 games out of first. That's rammed toward the left field corner. Grossman hit it sharply. He's hustling for second. Hamilton over to play it, and the throw goes in. It's a double. Grossman's 10th of the year. Very good at bat to lead off the game for Houston.
Great at bat. That was Robbie Grossman's calling card right there. Is having these big ABs where he's getting deep into counts. Easy to do off of C.J. Wilson. Finally gets a fastball middle in. Gets on top of it. Hammered it.
Grossman's aboard now. It's Jose Altuve. At 336, he's the major league leader in batting average. He is 7 points ahead of Victor Martinez of Detroit in the American League batting race. Has 6 homers, 45 runs batted in, a 374 on base average. 9-game hitting streak for Altuve. He has 189 hits. He will be focusing on getting Grossman to third in one fashion or another, or perhaps driving him in.
See, Altuve is one of those guys who get him over and get him in with one swing.
Ground ball just wide of third base. Beckham playing in tight. Eric Ibar, boy, you talk about 2 hot middle infielders. Ibar is on a 16-game hitting streak, and Altuve, Albert Pujols, pounding on him, and Mike Trout. There's some star power in that shot.
Why are they always messing with the little guy?
That's just what guys do, isn't it?
A couple of number 27s in this game with pretty good numbers on the season.
Line shot center field. That'll get down. Grossman will be held at third by Pat Listash. He didn't read the ball too well. And Altuve now has a 10-game hitting streak. That's hit number 190.
Disappointing not to see Robbie score on this. Looks like Iannetta may have gotten crossed up the way that ball was coming in and how he reacted, but go with your instinct, son. Robbie Grossman had a good read to start with, but hesitated a little bit.
And Listash holding him up now, first and third, nobody out. Dexter Fowler has been hitting cleanup. That's 190 hits now for Altuve. 20 below the team record set by Craig Biggio in 98, 210. Fowler at 276 with 8 homers, has 29 runs batted in, a 378 on base percentage, 7th best in the American League. Fowler went 4 for 12, driving in a run against the Rangers. And the throw goes to first. Altuve with 49 steals, one away from a big milestone. He leads the league in the American League with those 49. Leads the league in many departments. Fowler takes it, and it's ball one. Good running count here. Fowler is 2 for 4 against Wilson. Tom Lawless likes the running game as the manager.
He's got to love having Jose Altuve.
Altuve goes. Strike. The pitch. And the throw is in the dirt, and it's a steal, and it's number 50 for Altuve.
You called it, Brownie. Said it was a good running count. Altuve's listening. Makes it easy in the second. Not a great throw from Iannetta. I think Kendrick did a good job of keeping that ball in front of him.
That's the 8th steal with Wilson on the mound in 14 tries. That's 50. What a big number for a base stealer. That is a huge number.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this season's going to look good on the back of his baseball card.
That's down and in. A good stop by Iannetta on ball 2 on Fowler. Michael Bourne, the last Astro to steal 50 or more in a season.
Good job by Iannetta getting that glove down early.
Back in 2010, Michael Bourne led the National League with 52 steals. Altuve the first Astro since him to reach 50. Michael also led the National League in 09. He stole 61 that year. Outside, and Fowler's worked the count to 3-1. Cesar Cedeno had some 50 stolen base seasons. Gerald Young has the club record, so Altuve has joined some of the elite in Houston history in base stealing.
Talk about how Mike Trout's numbers have gotten bigger in the years that he's played, now 3. But Altuve is one of those guys too that's continued to raise those numbers over the years he's played.
Yes, he has. That strike 2 call. Fowler was starting to head for first. It's a full count for Wilson.
I want my 3-hole hitter to swing away 3-1. I know this is a borderline pitch, but there's 2 ducks on the pond right there waiting for you.
Yeah. Fowler's hit in 7 of his last 8 games. He'll be looking this one over with Carter on deck. And he rams one on a line into center field. Grossman scores to make it 1-0 on the RBI single by Fowler. 3 straight hits greeting Wilson in this game. 30th run batted in for Dexter Fowler.
Good piece of hitting by Dexter, staying inside, going right back up the middle. Hit that one a little too hard, didn't allow Altuve to score. See Altuve hesitate on the line drive. It's good base running. But C.J. Wilson again, 3-2 count, forces you to throw that fastball in a good hitting count in the strike zone. It's going to do some damage.
Chris Carter, the DH, has runners at first and third, nobody out. He was the major league leader in home runs in August with 12, and in slugging percentage 626. Fouls it back, strike 1. Carter's been hitting third, but in that cleanup spot right now with 33 homers, 78 runs batted in, and a 227 average. Nelson Cruz is the major league leader with 36 home runs. Giancarlo Stanton has 34. And the throw goes over. Fowler with 7 steals in 10 attempts. And the Astros have the ability with these 2 base runners to make some things happen. With Carter at the plate, though, they'd like to see him swing the bat before losing a runner on the bases. That's a strike, and it's 0-2 to Chris. Since July 1st, Carter has belted 20 homers to lead the majors. He's driven in 48 runs. He has been a different player since that date. He's hit .364 against C.J. Wilson with a couple of homers. Good stop again by Iannetta, and a troublesome first for Wilson. 1-2. Angel pitching has the 4th best ERA in the American League for Mike Scioscia. Their starters have an ERA of 3.09 since the All-Star break. Matt Shoemaker, the rookie right-hander, has been a big part of that. 15th major league season for Scioscia. This Angel team, 30 games above 500. First time the Angels have ever had a team that far above 500 after 136 games. Carter takes it, and it's down for ball 2. Wilson really struggling here. We beat the Astros here in Houston first week of the season with an excellent effort. Halo's 7-2 the last 10 days, averaging 4.8 with an ERA of 2.11. That first start was excellent here this season for Wilson against the Astros. 8 innings, 1 run. And the throw goes over to first. As you mentioned last time out, that was July 4th against Dallas Keuchel in Anaheim. He was hit hard. He gave up a Carter homer, a couple of more. Springer and Singleton took him deep, and he was tagged for 6 runs in 4 1/3 innings. He is really working on Dexter Fowler. Earlier this season, the Astros were getting outscored in the first inning by quite a good margin, but they've made up for it. Carter bounces one foul. Kind of a late swing there with 2 strikes by Chris, just protecting.
I'm okay with that. I like that, actually. When we saw Chris earlier in the year, that would be a swing and miss. He'd be down in the dugout, leaving that runner at third base. But now fouling that pitch off extends us at bat a little bit. Maybe allow C.J. Wilson to make a mistake.
Very good point.
Right now, a mistake would be a huge blow to the Angels.
Carter bangs one foul. Yeah, he's been hitting mistakes over the railroad tracks the last few weeks.
I've noticed that. He's fun to watch because he's got such tremendous pop, but he doesn't have the swing that would say that ball was annihilated. For whatever reason, he gets the barrel through the zone and the ball goes flying. But it doesn't have that aggressive monster George Springer type hack. He just quietly goes about it, puts the barrel on it, and it just goes.
Fowler takes off. That one's lined to left field. Altuve scores. Fowler first to third. Hamilton throwing into second. RBI single by Carter. That was a rocket off his bat. 4 straight hits for Houston and a 2-0 first inning lead. It's exactly what you talked about. He fouled off the previous 2-strike pitch and got one he could hammer.
That happens sometimes when you're facing a guy that likes to nibble. Sometimes he tries to get so perfect that he ends up leaving one out over the plate. And if Chris Carter doesn't foul up that pitch, extend this at bat a little bit, he doesn't get that pitch.
Now 2 runs on 4 hits. Wilson looks in. Iannetta giving signs. Now it's Fowler at third, Carter at first. Jason Castro the batter. Castro starting the night at .227, has 14 bombs. He's driven in 51. Last 3 games he's picked up the pace. Jason's a .125 career hitter against C.J. Wilson. Left-handed batters are managing just a .226 average against Wilson. Castro looks at a breaking pitch. There's ball 1 to Jason.
I'm not entirely sure we've seen C.J. Wilson get a breaking ball over yet for a called strike.
He probably hasn't.
Trying to start Castro off with one right there.
Castro had homers in back-to-back games in the Texas series in games 1 and 2, and the first one was his second grand slam of his career. It's in tight, and it's 2 balls, no strikes.
That was a great looking swing on his grand slam too. Just watching that one at home with my daughters, and the foot got down early, his hands were back great, and as soon as he recognized that pitch was down and in, he annihilated it.
That accounted for all of the runs in a 4-2 win. Matt Dominguez on deck. This one's a long way to left center field. Trout turning back, all the way back, leaping at the wall. Trout has it. Here's the tag at third by Fowler. He was waiting, and he'll waltz home to make it 3-0 on a long sac fly by Castro for his 52nd run batted in.
Just picking on the wrong guy. Sometimes the home field advantage here at Minute Maid can work for you and create some issues for guys going into those gaps. But Mike Trout and his athleticism wasn't an easy play, but he made it look easy. Well, driven by Castro too. That stroke working pretty good at home.
It sure jumped off his bat. Out number 1 has taken 27 pitches now, and it's Matt Dominguez. Ball 1 to bat, 224, 15 homers, 53 runs batted in, with the Astros grabbing an early 3-0 advantage. He has not done a whole lot. 167 lifetime against Wilson. Matt had a good game Sunday. An RBI single and a homer. Ground ball hit through the left side past the diving Beckham, and the Astros just keep raking. That's hit number 5. Dominguez aboard for Marisnik now, with Carter going to second.
I think these guys missed me a little bit. Putting on a show tonight. And I'm enjoying it right now. That's a lot of pitches. That's going to bring out the pitching coach, Butcher, for the Los Angeles Angels. But this inning getting off to a Brad Peacockish kind of start.
Butcher's not had to make too many first inning trips this year. We would have to presume, Jeff, his rotation has a 3.59 ERA, 4th best in the American League, and just has put together so many great games here in the last month and has overtaken that Oakland club. But C.J. Wilson, with that 10-8 record of 4.46 ERA, has struggled.
Struggled quite a bit, and I think to the point too in this last month of September, a lot of the clippings that I'm reading out in Los Angeles are saying, if we go to the playoffs right now, what's our rotation look like? Is C.J. Wilson going to be one of the first 3 starters in a playoff series? Because Shoemaker's been stepping up since Garrett Richards went out. Santiago's been pitching well. Tomorrow's not too shabby. Weaver.
Yeah, Weaver. 233 for Jake Marisnik. Yoslin Herrera, a right-hander, is warming up. And there's strike 1. Marisnik with a homer, 7 runs batted in. Has fit quite nicely into this Astros lineup. He was hit by a pitch, stole a base, and scored a run in the 8th inning Sunday in the 3-2 win. He lines one. It's caught by Beckham. Throw to second base and double play. Carter doubled off on a 5-4 liner. And that's the first inning for Houston. 3 runs scoring on 5 hits with a man left. 3-0 Astros.
CSNHouston.com, because in-game live is where you find the stats that go beyond the box score. For example, you can see a hitter's batting averages in every single quadrant in the strike zone. You can also vote for your player of the game, because your top choice gets shown on TV afterwards on Astros Postgame Live. That's in-game live at CSNHouston.com. All right, for our Twitter question, today is September call-up day. Lots of guys getting called up. We want to know which one you're most excited about and why. Tweet me at HoChenCSN and explain why, because I'm reading your best tweets on TV. Guys?
Thanks, Howard. We go to the second inning, 3-0 Astros. Josh Hamilton starts it off. Brad Peacock throwing the first pitch to him. It's ball one. Hamilton has hit .300 against Houston with 3 homers, .265 overall with 10 bombs this season. Altuve out in right field, sliding from his knees, and the scoop by Singleton, 1 out.
Well, if you're going to have a good night on the bump, you got to have some boys backing you up, and Altuve has been doing it all year long, showing a lot more range this season, doing a great job on a tough hop, turning it into an out. It's not easy to time up those hops like that. You can see that second hop jumping up on him a little bit, but it's also tough when you're playing that shift depth a couple steps back on the outfield grass. You don't know how it's going to react sometimes, but pretty good glove.
Howie Kendrick taking ball one. Taps the fastball foul for a 1-1 count to a .278 hitting Kendrick with 56 runs batted in. Kendrick has 54 hits to the opposite field. That's tied for #1 in the American League. Marisnick certainly is playing him as an opposite field hitter. It's 2-1.
This is about as straight up as I've seen the Astros defense all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Two balls, 2 strikes. Peacock going right after him. Brad said after his last start, it's important to establish the fastball. He stayed with it despite struggling in that first inning with the bases loaded last time out. Remained committed to it, and he got good results. Kendrick works the count full. Kendrick and Ibar, who's on deck, both a couple of outstanding contact hitting middle infielders.
It's good production from your shortstop and second baseman.
It really is, and they hit the ball hard. Kendrick bangs one foul, third base side. Kendrick's hit .341 lifetime against the Astros, .393 this season, with 13 runs batted in for him.
Well, you talked about Howie Kendrick doing a good job of going the other way, and I think that's why those average numbers are up so high, because he's doing a good job of letting that ball travel, go the other way. He's also driven in some big runs with those big averages that he's had.
Fouls it away. The Angels have that combination, Blummer, of contact hitters and power hitters. Outstanding lineup. They're averaging 4.7 runs per game. That's third in the American League.
How about the guy at the top? Did anybody guess Cole Calhoun was going to be leading this charge?
No. A hard hit ball to shortstop. Petit had to reach back for it. That ball was drilled. A couple of good plays here by Altuve and Petit for the first 2 outs in this inning.
Yeah, sometimes the ball gets hit so hard it plays you a little bit, but Petit does a good job kind of holding his ground. You can see him a couple of steps back, gives you a little bit longer to see that ball after that first hop.
Eric Ibar comes up next. He's a switch hitting shortstop on a 16-game hitting streak. .286, 6 homers, 58 runs batted in, and .414 since the 12th of August to lead the majors. Dominguez in tight as he looks at ball one. Ibar's walked only 28 times this season. Good fastball makes it 1-1. Saw him on TV, Blummer, a few nights ago, and There was an opening on the left side of the infield when he was batting left-handed. The pitcher threw a sinker down and away, and he just whacked it right through that opening into left field.
It's a good hitter. He's having himself a good year. The RBIs are way up.
Two balls, one strike.
Sorry, Brownie. That's what good hitters do. They recognize situations. And these days, with all the analytics going out there, a lot of shifts being put on, you're going to see guys, veteran guys, I would say, trying to do a better job of hitting against those.
Curveball makes it 3-1. It kind of makes you wonder after seeing him get that hit if maybe pitching him away is a bad idea.
And that's the other thing I was just going to get to is if you're going to put those shifts on, you got to pitch into the shifts. Leaving those pitches out over the plate allows the hitter to go the other way against possible shift you may have on.
He fouls that one away. 3-2 to Ibar. Ibar 30 years old. The Angels are sitting pretty right now with a .610 winning percentage. That's the tops in the majors. They are beginning a 10-game road trip. They will go to Minnesota and Texas. So facing 3 clubs with losing records, and they bring this 4.5-game edge on Oakland into this trip. Things looking very good with the Angels in that position at 83 and 53. Then the Athletics 4.5 back. The Mariners have dropped 10 games back now.
Yeah, it's up to these contending teams when you have so-called easy record to go out there and beat those teams that you're supposed to beat.
In the air and foul. Matt Dominguez comes over in front of the Angel bench, running out of room. Can't get there.
I also think on their 10-game road trip they have to mix in a makeup game against Cleveland.
Okay.
That they lost earlier in the season. Of course, that's going to have an effect on how things end up in the end of the season.
It sure is. That Cleveland club needs to win that game too. The Indians are in the hunt in the AL Central.
Yeah, Terry Francona's doing a great job up there with those guys. Second youngest ball club in the American League.
Yeah, they've been amazing hanging in as long as they have. Ibar puts another one out of play. This is a battle here.
I thought you were going to say it was getting annoying.
Well,
he's getting some fastballs to hit too. He's just not putting them in play.
Annoying for Peacock, you'd have to think.
Yeah, he's actually done a good job and been economical about his pitch count. And now Ibar's up here screwing everything up.
He'll be seeing the 9th pitch of this at bat. Brent Strom watching with arms folded. That's in the air, and the left fielder Robbie Grossman standing right in his tracks for out number 3. 6 Angels in a row have been set down. The Astros lead it 3-0.
And it's time for you to tweet your photos using hashtag CSNHFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Yesterday was a day off for the Astros. Now back at it. They have just this 2-game series before heading off on a long road trip. And now they have built a 3-0 lead in their first at bat. John Singleton comes around. The number 8 hitter at 178 has 12 homers, 41 runs batted in. He homered off C.J. Wilson, as we mentioned, in Anaheim on the 4th of July. There's ball 1. Singleton has hit lefties better than right-handed pitching so far this year. Wilson has faced the Astros since 2006 when he was in the bullpen with Texas. 1 ball, 1 strike. One of those guys who's made the transition quite well. He has 52 career saves and now 83 wins. Inside with that one, that takes it to 2-1. Wilson got off to a nice start. He was 4-2 in April with a 3.18 ERA, 2-2 in May with a 2.92. Since then, the numbers have not been the same for C.J. Wilson. He had a sprained ankle and a rough start in June and early July to get him turned around. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And he had some hip problems as well and was trying to work with his delivery on that and may have just thrown himself out of whack. He missed 3 weeks with a sprained ankle. And he gets a punch out. 1 out. Julia?
We want everyone to come celebrate Fiesta's Patria Street Fest. This is presented by United Airlines on Saturday, September 20th, outside Minute Maid Park. There will be live music, lots of food, and fun for all ages. The Street Fest is open to all fans and will be on Crawford Street beginning at 3 p.m. And then the Astros play the Mariners at 6:10. Brownie.
Saturday, September 20th. Thanks for that, Julia. The Mariners still in the hunt right now. Gregorio Petit. And now time is called. A ball got loose. It's being retrieved from the Astros bullpen. Petit at 273 has a homer. He's driven in 5. Oh, Tom Lawless, the new skipper, met with the Astros before he met the media today. Somebody asked him in the conference he had after that with the media, the daily press briefing, if you will, do you know the signs? He said, I don't have to know the signs.
That's beautiful.
0-2. Could you explain that, Blummer?
He puts that on his bench coach now, Adam Everett.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, Adam, I want to hit and run. And it's Adam's job to know what's going on. And apparently he's looking for his wallet, too.
Okay. Struck him out looking. Petit is out, number 2.
Back-to-back Ks for C.J. Wilson. This one just a paint job on Petit. Kind of step out of the box, hoping that the umpire doesn't call it, but when he does, just kind of tip your cap, go back, and say, I'm going to get you next time.
Bobby Grossman got the Astros off to a nice first inning start, leading off with a double to the left field corner. Well, we'd certainly like to thank skipper Bo Porter, bench coach Dave Tremblay for all the help they gave us in our jobs. There's strike 1. Wish them well. It's unfortunately one of those things that comes along in baseball from time to time, and we've seen a lot of these changes down through the years, Blummer. It's never fun. 1 ball, 1 strike, but they really were very helpful to the media.
Yeah, they were welcoming, answered all the questions. Didn't really treat us too much like media, which is nice. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I've been through a couple of those changes. They are not fun to be in that clubhouse when you know that your head coach is getting the boot. Because you do, I mean, whether you're responsible or not as a player, you do feel some responsibility for the fact that he's not there anymore.
Samuel DeDuno, one of the new Astros who was claimed on waivers from the Minnesota Twins, is at work in the bullpen. Now with rosters expanding here in the month of September, there are lots of extra guys out there. Scott Feldman, Colin McHugh, certainly 2 mainstays of the starting rotation. But we do expect to see Nick Tropiano make 2 or 3 starts from what we've been told later on this season. Brad Peacock is regarded as the number 5 starter in the rotation, if you will. There's Brett Oberholzer. So with those 2 other previously mentioned names, there are 3 of the Astros 5 starters. That's a strikeout and a throw out at first base. Wilson has regrouped. He has struck out the side in the 2nd inning, and the Astros lead it 3-0 after 2.
Over the Angels, and today players, coaches, including myself, wearing the backwards K Cancer shirt today, and representing Astros colors is the one I have on. It's all players are doing it around the league to strike out cancer, and this is the 2nd year they've done it. It's Jason Mott's foundation. It's how this got it started, but each player has a representative. For the Astros, it's Brett Oberholzer. You see him wearing a shirt there, as his father was diagnosed with leukemia about 10 years ago. He fought it. He is cancer-free, but the fight will never be forgotten. You can buy these shirts at 108stitches.com and use the hashtag on Twitter if you're wearing your K-Cancer shirt, KCancer14. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. 3-0 Astros. We go to inning number 3, and Brad Peacock looks in. Brett Oberholzer watching as Chris Iannetta bats against Peacock. First pitch breaking ball comes in for strike 1 to Iannetta. 265, 7 homers, 38 runs batted in for Iannetta. And it's 0-2. Last 3 games he's exploded for a .571 average and a couple of home runs. He had 3 hits Sunday. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hit his 7th home run of the year. Iannetta's 31 years old, from Providence, Rhode Island, and the University of North Carolina, where he was a math major. Fastball makes it 2-2. That ought to help him compute the lowering ERAs of that Angels staff. You know, generally Oakland is regarded to have a better pitching staff and a better offense, but it doesn't look so good right now in the standings for Oakland. Struck him out looking. He poured the fastball right in, and it's strikeout number 2 for Peacock.
Good pitch. Couple of off-speed pitches early in the count to go ahead 0-2. Couple of pitches off the plate, but comes back. That's not a perfectly located fastball, but he set it up nicely with a couple of off-speed pitches early in the count.
Yes. Brennan Bosch, who was recalled from AAA prior to this game, is one of the September call-ups for the Angels. Bosch hits it in the air outside the left field line, and Matt Dominguez will go over and watch it go out of play for strike 1. Bosch had a big year in the Pacific Coast League this season from Salt Lake. This is his third stint with the Angels. He hit .332 to lead the PCL in batting average. Had 25 homers and 85 runs batted in at Salt Lake. Also 25 doubles and 7 triples. Fastball makes it 0-2.
Apparently likes the heater no matter where it is. He was up there hacking.
Yes. Nice four-seamer there.
That's a good illustration on Brad Peacock's fastball, too. He can throw 92, 94. If he does it properly, he can elevate in the zone like that and get a swing and miss every now and then.
It really helps to make that strike zone a lot taller, doesn't it?
Yeah, but that when his breaking ball's doing a good job, he can get away with it.
Yes, he can. Dominguez waits for it. That's 8 straight retired by Peacock, who's been bewildered by his first inning problems this season, but no such deal tonight. Not out of the gate, getting outs. 41 pitches, 8 outs in the game, and it's Gordon Beckham to follow. Beckham came in a trade from the White Sox. He's hitting .220 with 8 homers, 41 runs batted in. And he can play various infield positions. Starting at third tonight, there's ball 1. Beckham, 27 years old, was a first-round pick by the White Sox in 08. He's from Atlanta. Played in all 6 games against the Astros while with the White Sox. 1 ball, 1 strike. Very good defensive player. And he's driven in 5 runs in his last 4 games. He made his debut August 23rd. He was acquired for a player to be named later. Will cash. That's a little looper over the shortstop. Petit out into left center field. It barely cleared the infield, and Beckham becomes the first Angel base runner tonight. After 8 straight were set down.
Basically just fought that one off. That was a good pitch and a good location from Brad Peacock. Just Beckham does a better job of forcing that one into center field for that first base hit.
He's aboard for Cole Calhoun. Calhoun struck out in the first inning. Left-handed hitters are hitting 5 points higher than right-handed hitters against Peacock. Good stop by Castro on ball 1 from Brad. This is the final series for the Angels in this ballpark this season. The Astros will pay a return visit on their upcoming road trip. The Astros are 3-4 here against Anaheim this season. That's in for a strike for Peacock. That levels the count at 1-1. Angel team really has been pretty steady. 14-13 in April, a 16-12 month of May, 15-10 in June, 19-8 in July. At that point, they were only 2 games out at the end of July. And then August has been a springboard for them to move into first place for Mike Scioscia. Bouncer Altuve to his right. On to first. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. 3-0 Houston in the 3rd.
And 2015 Astros season tickets are on sale now. Enjoy some of the best seats at Minute Maid Park. Get the best value and receive great benefits throughout the season. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS now to reserve your seats.
Happy birthday wishes go out to the captain, Milo Hamilton. He was born in 1927. That was a historic year for the Yankees, who had one of the best years any Major League Baseball team has ever had. And he's now 87 years old. Hello, Hamilton. We had a cake in the press lounge before the game tonight.
That's impressive stuff.
Still going strong.
Sure is.
Jose Altuve singled in the first inning. And Altuve, after the 4-hit game on Sunday now, has 5 consecutive hits. Gets his hits in bunches. That's ball 1. You know, Sunday, Blummer, I know you were watching.
Yeah.
He had 3 of those 4 hits on the first pitch of the at-bat.
He's aggressive. We know that for a fact. Watching him play, he goes out there. He wants to attack early and often. Just rare that you see guys getting that many hits on first pitches.
There's a drive to left field for Altuve, and he hits one in the seats. Home run number 7. 4-0 Astros.
Tell you why I'm giggling after you get done, Brownie. I'm sorry. It's all right. So we go down. I haven't seen the team in a while. I go down behind the cage. A lot of the front office is down there, obviously, because things are happening. Enos Cabell's down there ragging on Altuve. Says, are you going to do anything today? What's the first thing Altuve says? I'm going to go deep tonight. So not only is he getting a lot of hits, he's calling his shots.
Calling his shots. That's 46 runs batted in for Altuve. And Dexter Fowler licks at ball 1. It's the 17th long ball allowed by Wilson. Gives the Astros a 4-run lead. Gives Altuve 191 hits. He's had 57 2-hit games to lead the American League. 1 ball, 1 strike.
There it is. Guns out. That was for Enos Cabell right there.
1 and 2. He just plays the game with so much joy. And
wouldn't you if you're at 340?
Yeah. That does make it easy to have a smile on your face, doesn't it?
No, he is a joy to watch. He's a joy to be around. He is a complete package. He's a great kid.
And walking out of the ballpark Sunday afternoon, he said of the 4 hits, he said, well, it's going to make for a lot more enjoyable day off winning the game. He had that key hit in the bottom of the 8th inning, so it wasn't just collecting hits, but it was the deciding hit in the 8th inning. And now he makes it 4-0, and the count's 3-2 on Fowler. Fowler takes a walk. Coming into this game, Wilson had gone to a full count on 19.4% of the batters he's faced this season. Highest among Major League qualifiers. The Astros not only doing a number on him, but also forcing up the pitch count to 53. And it's Carter batting now. He lined the RBI single to left. Yoslin Herrera warming up again in the bullpen.
This is a slow get your bullpen going walk right here by Chris Iannetta.
Yeah. Well, these are games in the month of September, Blummer, in which even though the Angels are trailing 4-0, it's only the 3rd inning. They have a high-powered offense. They do not give up on a ball game. And their position in the standings at this point in September.
And you don't want to let things get out of hand. That's exactly what you're saying, Brian. Is you got to stop the bleeding while you can. You can see it in Mike Scioscia, the way he's standing there. He's thoroughly annoyed at the fact that this is happening right now, and he has to get that bullpen up. But he knows that he has the offense in this ballpark to get back in this game, if not win it. But at the same time, you don't want that lead to be too big to where these guys can't battle back into it.
Yeah, a manager does play it a little bit differently, I think, in September in the situation of a first-place club like the Angels. Not quite as much rope for the starting pitcher. a situation like this.
Yeah, we looked at their roster before the game and we realized that they have quite a few resources out there in that bullpen.
They have 36 players. 36. 2 balls, no strikes.
And that's everybody they have on their 40-man that's active and able to play.
That's a crowded bench. And what about the bullpen?
Yeah, thank goodness they're not playing the Cubbies right now or in Boston.
Which don't have any seats in the bullpen.
That'd be some sharing of lockers. Get to know each other real well.
2 balls and a strike. Well, they do have seats in the bullpen, don't they? But the point being, it's still crowded.
Yeah, and especially this one here in Houston. They're kind of tucked out underneath there, nowhere to go.
It's 3-1. And the Astros just keep working this count. 62.6% of the pitches thrown by Wilson this year have not been swung at.
Have they been able to swing at some of those?
We haven't seen too many close tonight. There's a strike call. The runner stops and goes back. And now a rundown. And Fowler is tagged out by Pujols for a double play. Or that's strike 2. So that's out number 1. 2-4-3, a caught stealing.
I'm not sure what's going on right there for Dexter Fowler. That was a terrible jump going to second base. I wonder if that was a run and hit. That's definitely not a hit and run. But if you're going to put your head down with a big home run hitter at home plate in a 3-1 count, you'd like to get to second base.
So that's 1 out.
Boy, this guy's been driving the ball out of the ballpark. You want to have as many guys on base as you can.
Carter started the bat and he's called for a swing. That's a strikeout. It's out number 2. It's strikeout number 4. And Castro will follow.
Yeah, we saw in the first inning C.J. Wilson throwing a lot of fastballs in that 3-2 count, but I think the guy at home plate is what dictated that 3-2 slider over the season. Chris Carter, a lot of swings and misses no matter the count. But right there gets a pretty good slider from C.J. Wilson.
Jason Castro really got into one on a 2-0 count. Hit a sac fly. Mike Trout with a leaping catch at the bullpen wall. And that's ball 1. Trout is known for his game-saving catches, pulling back home runs. This is a tough ballpark to do that. One and one.
Yeah, plenty of room to roam out there, but as far as robbing home runs, not going to have that happen here too often.
Castro fouls it. It's 1-2. Of course, the media was out in full force yesterday for the news conference with Jeff Luhnow explaining the managerial and bench coach change, and then again today for the arrival of Tom Lawless and Adam Everett, a session with them and more interviews with them and Jeff and the players. And Jeff was interviewed about the September call-ups as well. It's 2-2. Tom Lawless said, well, this is the reason you stay in baseball. And he's 57, but he's been in the minor leagues for years now. He's done some managing. He's filled in this year at AAA when Tony DeFrancesco was getting his cancer treatments in Houston. And he's filled in at AAA before in the Astros system, managed in the minor leagues and other team systems, and been a coach as well. He's had a variety of roles.
And him and Jeff Luhnow did have a relationship before he was hired today too, so that has a little bit to do with it too.
Yes. That's rocked on a line in right field, and Calhoun comes in, can't make the play, flips it in front of him. There's a well hit ball for a single by Castro. Well, he's had 2 outstanding plate appearances here against Wilson tonight.
There's not been a soft hit off C.J. Wilson tonight. Every time the Astros have put a barrel on the ball, it's been smoked. It's actually a pretty good job by Calhoun to actually keep that ball in front. That ball gets by him. Even Castro might have a chance at 3.
Yes. 7 hits for Houston. Matt Dominguez next. Domingo takes, and there is ball 1 to him. Pat Listash, the third base coach, with signs. Jake Marisnick on deck. Strike makes it 1-1 to Matty D. Finale of the homestand comes tomorrow night at 7:10. It's Colin McHugh and Jared Weaver. Ground ball to third. Beckham to second for the force. Altuve with his 7th home run of the season gives the Astros a 4-0 lead after 3. Orbit was out early. Figured Trout is in town. Let's do some fishing. And it looked like he snagged one, but then the tables turned as Mike is able to wrest that rod away from him and go to work on Orbit. And he pulls him in.
It's nothing Trout can't do, can it? Caught himself a flounder.
MVF fisherman. And maybe MVP later on. What do you think?
Pretty good sport. I know some guys around the league that would rather knock a mascot out than try and play back with him.
Some Trout hats here.
Orbit's been doing a good job this season.
Excellent job. Just had some fun with JP Arancibia. Now Trout, who hit a fly ball to center field in the first inning, comes around for the second time. Mike hit 27 homers last year. He's already hit 31. There is strike 1. But the Angels have managed only 1 hit, just 1 base runner through 3 against Peacock. Oh, those box scores will be getting longer for September baseball this year.
Oh man, my score sheet's getting uglier in September.
Ooh. Well, you know, the managers have guys they can use to pinch run now, and just all kinds of specialists on the roster.
Good pitch.
0-2 to Trout. They have all those bullpen arms.
Yeah, that was down the middle of the plate, which set him up nicely, but just a good pitch down in the zone.
1-2 to Trout. Who would be your MVP in the American League? Is it this guy?
Yeah, I think it would. Considering they've got the best record they've had in how many years you talked about earlier.
They've never
a big reason why.
Yeah, they've never been 30 over through 136. And he struck him out. That is impressive. Brad Peacock pulling the string on Mike Trout.
This is the only hole in Mike Trout's game, is that the strikeouts are probably a little bit higher than a lot of people would like to see, but you got to give credit to Brad Peacock. 2 good pitches to get ahead early. 0-2 threw the high fastball, raised his eye level a little bit, and then threw it just a little bit nastier breaking ball to put away potential MVP.
Albert Pujols bats. Ball 1 to Pujols. He grounded to shortstop earlier. Albert's now 34 years old, a 9-time All-Star. Takes that one for a ball. 2-0 to Pujols. Albert has 516 career homers. That's 21st on the all-time list. This one heads for center field. Dexter Fowler back. 2 down. Julia.
Thank you, Brownie. Get your running and walking shoes out and join us for the Badges and Bases 10K 5K run at Minute Maid Park on Saturday, September 27, 2014. Presented by the Astros Foundation and the Houston Police Foundation. There will also be a kids fun run for ages 12 and under. All participants will receive a commemorative T-shirt. Register at astros.com/race.
Well, that is right up your alley. But
I know. We're not in town.
No.
That's just a quick sprint for Julia.
Yeah.
Little warm up.
Not challenging at all. Josh Hamilton with strike 1.
I'm kidding.
Me and you, Brownie, we'd have to do a relay race to get that thing done.
Oh, yeah. It's not going to be happening.
That or I have to get a motorcycle or some kind of motorized vehicle.
Julia, do you realize on her day off was attending a minor league baseball game yesterday?
Can you believe that? Can't get enough.
Round rock. Ground ball. And there's Singleton spinning and tossing to Peacock. Robbing Hamilton. And in the 4th, it's 1-2-3. Only 1 base runner through 4 against Brad Peacock. A 4-0 Houston lead.
Look at the home field advantage brought to you by Coldwell Banker. It is Jake Marisnick. That is a home field advantage right there. 296 with a bomb and 3 RBIs here at Minute Maid Park since being traded over from the Florida Marlins. Miami Marlins. Everybody's changing their names, changing teams, but Jake is enjoying his time here in Houston on the road. Loses about 70 points, getting down to 227, but while playing here in front of the hometown fans, they are enjoying what he's doing.
Certainly put on a show with his legs and his glove. Marisnick lined into a double play in the 1st inning.
How about his arm?
His arm has been fantastic. You're right. Let's not forget about that.
Been playing real well.
4-0 Astros. C.J. Wilson delivers, and there's ball 1 to Marisnick. The Singleton and Petit to follow. The Astros have tagged the left-hander. with 7 hits and 4 runs. There's one over shortstop, out into left center field. That'll scoot, go to the wall, extra bases. Marisnick flying around first. It's a double, his 4th of the year.
Told you liked hitting here.
He glides, doesn't he, when he runs?
Absolutely. That ball was well stung, too. Fastball down in the zone. All he does is drop the head on it, stays through it, and as soon as he sees that ball shooting into the gap, that's when the legs get going. It's fun to watch guys that can actually run.
Yoslin Herrera once again is warming up for the Angels. That's hit number 8 allowed by C.J. Wilson. And John Singleton struck out in the 2nd inning. Marisnick is a threat to steal 3rd base. It's a towering fly ball, and the shortstop Ibar comes over to his right. Boy, Singleton continues to hit the ball straight up in the air on this homestand. 1 out.
Yeah, just watch the path of the barrel. Watch his eyes too, just not really on that contact point right now, but for whatever reason the barrel, you'd like to see. Please hold.
Pitching change. That'll do it. He wanted him to get the lefty, and that happened, but that's the end of the rope for C.J. Wilson. And Mike Scioscia is making this change right now with the score: Astros 4, Angels nothing. Back in a moment. Yoslin Herrera's warming up. News and notes: Jake Peavy, the last 4 starts, flirted with a no-hitter, as you know, last time out. 3-1 with a 1.26. Carlos Ruiz caught his 3rd no-hitter yesterday. That was the first ever combined no-hitter for the Phillies. Matt Holliday's gone 7 for 11 with 12 runs batted in the last 3 games. Matt Clark, who played in Japan last year, has been promoted from Nashville to Milwaukee. Slugging first baseman Diane Viciedo, 4 for his last 26. So the Brewers and these other clubs in the hunt are trying to leave no stone unturned to try to get every player up on the expanded rosters in the month of September. That might be the difference between a playoff berth and not a playoff berth. Plummer.
Well, it's great to see a guy like Matt Clark battling away. Did a great job in Japan, comes back here, has a great season. 27-year-old rookie. Yeah, that's what September's all about. Who knows? He may give the Brewers one big swing that propels them into the playoffs. And what if he makes that roster?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Yoslin Herrera's 1-1. His ERA 5.19. He's from Cuba in 9 games. He's had a chance to come in relief for this Angel club, and now trailing 4-0 faces Gregorio Petit. Petit struck out looking in the 2nd inning. Herrera's been warming up about 3 different times tonight. He delivers ball 1. Last homestand, he worked 2 2/3 innings, gave up 2 earned runs. He was the winning pitcher Saturday night. He got a bases loaded double play ball from the only batter he faced, Johnny Gomes. of Oakland. He throws a strike to Petit. That makes it 1-1. Herrera was in the big leagues with Pittsburgh in 08. Started 5 games that year. This is the first time he's returned since then. Came up in April for 6 games. And at Salt Lake, he had 5 saves, went 4-4 with a 2.52 ERA. It's 2 balls and a strike. This Angel Relief Corps has 26 wins, 18 losses, and a 3.31 ERA. Houston Street is the closer. He was obtained in a deal with San Diego. The Mariners play later tonight in Oakland. Paxton against Gray. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 13-game winner Sonny Gray trying to give the Athletics their 2nd straight win. They regrouped with a win last night. And their new acquisition, their new cleanup man, Adam Dunn, hit a homer in that game.
461 home runs for Adam Dunn.
It's been quite a ride in his career, and he's never been to the postseason.
It's amazing. And he said he's going to retire at the end of this season.
Be a great way to go out if he can do what you were talking about, the late heroics in a playoff game, maybe. Fouled away, still 2-2.
He's earned the right to do that.
He has. Yeah, he had to waive his no trade clause. Oakland was one of the teams on his no trade list, but he gladly did that with this shot at the playoffs. And he is sorely needed by the A's. They have struggled for offense ever since they made the trade with Boston for John Lester.
Man, me and Ash talked about that. Yeah, it's nice to pick up a guy like Lester, but I think taking Cespedes out of that lineup left a huge hole.
It seems to have done exactly that. 3-2. And the Angels were not really criticized, but at trade deadline they did nothing while Oakland was making those great acquisitions. The Angels had already made some moves earlier in July. They did not have the farm system, that kind of depth to part with those prospects to get a major player in their starting rotation the way Oakland did.
Yeah, there's still talk about them possibly picking up a starting pitcher after Garrett Richards went down with that horrific knee injury.
On ball third. Beckham looks the runner back. Throws to first. 2 outs. Herrera gets Petit. Now it's Robbie Grossman. Well, the Astros leading 4-0. Would love for Grossman to deliver this run number 5 here with a 2-out hit. He had a double in the first inning, struck out in the second. White Sox and Twins are tied 3-3. They're in the middle of the 4th in Minnesota at Target Field. Tyler Flowers hit his 11th home run for the Sox. Kenny Vargas number 5 for the Twins tonight. Later tonight it's the Nationals at the Dodgers. Pfister a 12-game winner and Kershaw a 16-game winner. That could be a dandy to watch.
It's a possible postseason matchup too.
Yes, it is. The Dodgers currently lead by 2 over the Giants in the NL West, while Washington has built a nice 7-game lead over Atlanta in the NL East. They strike 1 to Grossman. The Braves have fallen behind 2-0. They're at home against Philadelphia, and they've played 7 tonight. Braves, a strange team to figure this year.
Got no hit the other day by the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah.
4 pitchers to do it.
Cole Hamels came out after 6. He had struggled and his pitch count was up. Jonathan Papelbon saved it. That's the 4th no-hitter of this season. Yesterday's managerial firing in Houston was the first of the season in Major League Baseball. That's a shot to right center field by Grossman. Well hit. That bounces. That drives in run number 5. Grossman churning into second base. RBI 2-out double for Grossman. Second double of the game. 11th of the year. Scoring Marisnik. 5-0 Houston.
Big hit by Robbie. 2 outs in the inning after Brisnick led off with a double. Singleton popped out. Petit grounds out. That's what the Astros needed right here. That was a good changeup from Herrera, but Robbie Grossman aggressive, swinging early in the count. And this is what we want to see from Robbie. Earlier in the season, we saw him taking some pitches with guys in scoring position. But you got a stick in your hand. Use it.
That closes the book on Wilson. CJ with 3 1/3 innings, allowing 8 hits, 5 runs, walking 1, fanning 4 through 67 pitches. Jose Altuve is 2 for 2, a single, a steal, and a homer. Ground ball to shortstop. Ibar to first. And the Astros add an insurance run in the 4th with a run on 2 hits and a man left. It's 5-0 Houston through 4.
Answer history, September 2nd, 1971. Trailing the Dodgers 3-2. Cesar Cedeno hits an inside the park grand slam. You got to be kidding me. Leading the Astros to a 9-3 win. He remains the franchise all-time stolen base leader at 487. And poor Bill Buckner was involved in this play too. Brownie,
was he?
He collided with Jim Lefevre, which allowed the ball to trickle into the corner, and Cesar Cedeno took a nice speedy route around the bases for 4 RBIs. Can't be too many of those in the history of the game.
No, sir. Howie Kendrick leads it off in the 5th inning. The Astros lead at 5-0. They've out-hit the Halos 9-1. Kendrick grounded out to shortstop earlier. He looks at ball 1. Career stolen bases. Cesar Cedeno on top. 487 atop the Astro leaderboard. Craig Biggio was second with 414. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Cam Bedrosian is warming up for the Angels. Indians lead the Tigers 2-1 in the 6th. In the air to left center field. That's got some carry to it. Robbie Grossman back. One out for Peacock. Peacock has allowed only 1 base runner, a 2-out single by Beckham after he retired the first 8. There's Bedrosian. And it's Ibar batting next. Ibar hit a fly ball to left.
Of course, Bedrosian's going to have a beard, isn't he?
He's got to.
Mandatory.
Earlier this year, he was here and pitching, and his dad was watching him. Got a shot of his dad in the seats. Strike 1. In that Cleveland-Detroit game, we mentioned 2-1 Cleveland, bottom of the 6th inning. Kyle Lobstein got the start for Detroit against Carlos Carrasco, who has struck out 10 Tigers in 5 1/3. 1 ball, 1 strike. Miguel Cabrera got hot for them yesterday, and he is 2 for 3 so far tonight. Victor Martinez also has 2 hits. He's giving chase to Jose Altuve in the batting race. Martinez currently is hitting .331. Altuve began the night at .336, and he's 2 for 3. There's a shot to center field, moving Fowler back into left center. 2 out, retiring Ibar. In the AL Central, the Royals have a half-game lead on the Tigers. Then it's the Indians 4.5 back. And the Royals have to complete that game they played with Cleveland a couple of nights ago in Kansas City. They were trailing going to the bottom of the 10th by a couple of runs. They'll finish that when the Royals go to Cleveland. That's in about 3 weeks. That is a very big game right now. Assuming a loss, they're tied in the standings. Of course, we can't assume a loss. Strike to Iannetta.
So that game could lead to 163rd?
Well, it could.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
It really could. That would really throw havoc into the playoffs, wouldn't it?
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
One ball.
So your rotation going into the playoffs could be a mess. Then go into a 1-game playoff, have to win that game, and then head into a 3-game series?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Peacock spins a curveball. 1-2 on Iannetta. That pitch has been effective on Iannetta. And he used it to set up the fastball last time.
It's a case where as a hitter your eyes get a little bit too big too quick and you swing a little too early and a little too hard.
That pitch down makes it 2-2. Last win for Brad Peacock came back on July 8th at Texas. Since then he's lost 3. He's had 4 consecutive no decisions, but in 3 of those 4 he's allowed 1 earned run. Three balls, 2 strikes. So since that last win, well, July 8th, he's 0-3 with a 7.53 ERA.
Pitched so well in Cleveland too. Had to come out of that game with the forearm injury, but he was lights out. Only gave up 2 hits and an earned run in that game.
There's a 2-out walk. Iannetta on, and was talking with Brad a few days ago, Jeff. He said the forearm is not a problem for him right now. The innings are not a problem for him right now, so he hopes to remain in this starting rotation. There's a chance the Astros might expand the rotation and make it a 6-man rotation for a while.
And I think Brad realizes that if there was a position to be taken in that rotation, it might be his spot.
Not just the way the numbers align, yeah.
Or if you were going to sacrifice somebody out of that rotation, it might be him.
There's a swing by Bosch. Strike 1. He hit a foul, or a fair pop to third in the 3rd inning. Yeah, it can be tough, I would imagine, for a starting pitcher in the month of September to be shut down when every win is precious. He's 3-8. His ERA was 5.13 when the night started, but if he finishes well, it would be probably a little bit easier to stomach if that did in fact happen, and we don't know if it would. Might not. That one goes foul. Upper deck.
Just a bit.
Boy. 0-2 to Bosch.
Bosch over boogied on that one.
Baltimore got 4 in the 1st and leads Cincinnati 4-0 in the bottom of the 1st inning. Bud Norris, the beneficiary of all that offense, off Matt Latos. Nelson Cruz has driven in a run. He has 91 runs batted in now.
He's going to get some votes.
He will get some votes. Foul ball keeps the count at 0-2. That Baltimore club not to be made light of. 79 wins, 57 losses. Pretty good starting rotation. Maybe not, you know, the names like a John Lester that would evoke a top of the rotation guy, but pretty solid rotation throughout.
Yeah, they've done a good job. That offense is going to pick the staff up every once in a while. But I think that's probably the biggest surprise is that starting staff and losing Josh Johnson out of that bullpen too, which looks like a good move now.
Struck him out. Number 4 for Peacock. He has a 1-hitter through 5 and a 5-0 advantage.
game is followed by spectacular fireworks presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. The last Friday night fireworks of 2014 will be September 19th after the Astros play the Mariners. Get your tickets at 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. 5-0 lead for the Astros here. Some selfies happening there with the orange-clad fans. And meanwhile, in the bottom of the 5th inning, those fans will be seeing pitcher number 3 for the Angels. He is Cam Bedrosian. He's 0-1 with a 7.71 ERA. Pitched a couple of times here, June 3rd and June 5th, when the Astros face the Angels.
Some electric numbers from left-handed hitters off of Cam, but he's holding down those right-handed hitters pretty good. Got himself a fastball, mid-90s, slider, changeup, cutter, curveball.
Born in Georgia, his dad is Steve, a longtime pitcher with the Atlanta Braves. Cam was a first-round pick in 2010. Yoselin Herrera in 2/3 of an inning, allowed 1 hit, no runs, had no walks, no strikeouts. The starter was C.J. Wilson. He gave up 8 hits and 5 runs in 3 1/3. Fowler, Carter, and Castro come to the plate in the Astros' 5th inning. Fowler drove in a first-inning run with a single to center. He walked in the 3rd. Bedrosian was just recalled prior to tonight's game from AAA Salt Lake. He throws ball 1. He had 8 appearances there with a 1-1 record and 2 saves. He was ranked as the number 10 prospect of the Angels by Baseball America at the beginning of this season. 1-1. Boston leads the Yankees 7-3 in the bottom of the 7th at Yankee Stadium tonight. There's not the usual fervor for the Red Sox-Yankee series this time around. 2 balls and a strike.
It's amazing what that Boston offense did last year and now what they've done this year.
It really is.
I mean, they literally have gone from the number 1 offense to the last.
That's rare. That's out into right center field. Fowler's on for the 3rd straight time tonight with a single. Promoted to the number 3 spot in the order. That's gone well.
Done well in the middle of the order. Taking some pitches, keeping that on-base percentage high, but also getting some hits mixed in there too to keep that on-base percentage going about 380.
That's a good rate. Chris Carter drove in a run with a single to left. Then he struck out. Carter looks at it, and it's ball 1. In that Boston game with the Yankees, Joe Kelly started for the Red Sox. He's still in there. He got home run support from Xander Bogaerts, number 9. Mookie Betts, number 4. Daniel Nava, number 3. Nava's one example of what you talked about. He's done an about-face from last year's good offensive season. And he has some company in that Red Sox lineup.
Yeah, and you don't expect those guys to go out there and be number 1 every year, but you certainly don't expect them to drop that far.
Jason Castro ready to hit next. Strike to Carter. That makes it 2-1. The Astros would love to play spoiler. They have this opportunity. 2 games here with the Angels and then on the road on a tough trip.
Yeah, that trip's going to test your mettle.
2-2. Blummer, I was consulting a 2010 schedule, so let's get out the 2014 schedule and see where they go.
I thought you did that for me.
No, not for you.
I could reminisce a little bit.
All right, you go to Oakland, Seattle, and the Angels.
Yeah, nice long road trip.
9-game trip in 10 days for you.
Some mileage being racked up.
Bouncer third. Beckham. Here's a barehand. Ibar not in time at second. Beckham couldn't make the play. Ibar tried for a rebound effort. And it's first and second, nobody out.
The joys of playing third base with a big right-handed hitter up. Chris Carter hit that ball pretty well, but sometimes you just get caught in between. Beckham tried to corral it and keep it in front of him. This is a good angle right here. That first hop is firm, but when there's that much spin on that ball and it takes that second hop off the dirt, it really jumps at you a little bit. You can see that one just ate Beckham up.
So what can you do on that play for your third base?
You try and do what he did. He got in front of it, but you've got to do a better job, hopefully, of just absorbing the impact of that, keep it in front of you, maybe have a chance at first base, because you know Dexter Fowler can run pretty well getting to second base.
Jason Castro has a golden opportunity. First and second, nobody out. Castro has a sac fly and then a line drive single to right. He rocks this one to left field. Headed deep into the corner. Hamilton back. That's off the wall. It kicks back toward the infield. Fowler in to score. Hamilton tracks it down. It's an RBI double for Castro. 6-0 Houston. Castro's driven in a pair to give him 53 runs batted in.
Astros hit the ball well tonight. Ball elevated right there. Off the bat, I thought this ball had a chance of getting out. But with that scoreboard coming into play there at the Crawford boxes, another RBI. Misplayed by Josh Hamilton. Didn't allow Chris Carter to score, but 2 for 2. Sac fly for Jason Castro. Big night for him.
Now the infielders come in halfway for Matt Dominguez. Runners at second and third, nobody out. Domingo 1 for 2. He looks at ball 1. Mets 8, Marlins 6, bottom of the 8th in Miami. Home run number 35 for Mr. Giancarlo Stanton. He's driven in 101 now. Strong MVP candidate in the National League. Risnick on deck. The Astros have out-hit the Angels 11-1. It's 2-0. Just thinking about that previous play on Beckham, the error on a ball hit by Carter. He's played a lot of second base. If you're a second baseman playing third, it's not very comfortable, is it?
No, it's not. You don't have nearly as much time as you do at second base. And I obviously played a lot of third base and played against some guys that could hit the ball extremely hard down to third base, big right-handed hitters. I always opted to play deeper. I knew I had a good arm, but Beckham plays second base. He may still have that second base arm, and it does change your throwing angle moving from second to third. So he was playing where he thought he was comfortable, but I like playing as deep as I could on those big boppers.
That's a really good point. Domingo got the green light, aired it out, but it's 3-1 now. You don't want to play deeper than your arm will allow you to play.
Yeah, you do that because you do get those firm ground balls, and you want to have as much time to see the ball as you can. So I opted to play a little bit further back, had the arm, but also knowing your base runner too. Chris Carter, a guy like Gary Sheffield who could still run pretty decent, but I knew I had enough arm to get those guys.
3-2 with Vinny Pestano warming up in the bullpen. Domingo's had a couple of swings now after getting ahead 3-0. There's Pestano.
Tell you what, if you've got a pulse, you're going to be getting loose in that bullpen for the Angels.
36 players on their roster this September. Order another bus. Foul back. That's a nightmare for the traveling secretary.
I was just going to say the same thing. Your traveling secretary and your equipment manager are being put to work.
They're going to have to order a 747 for travel.
I don't think Artie would have a tough time with that.
Fly ball just on the infield. Pujols into foul territory. 1 out. And now Marisnick follows. Gets to be a real crush in September. Here's the in-game box for the Astros. Hits distributed throughout. The first 7 hitters, then Singleton and Petit, are looking for their first ones. Multiple hit games for 4 guys so far. Fifth inning not over. Now the infield comes in with second and third, one out. Marisnik line to third, and then he hit a double to left center. So a great opportunity for him to increase his RBI count of 7. Upstairs, ball 1. Yeah, this is such a different time of year, and it's been discussed over and over about expanding rosters during the season. This is the only sport that allows for it, among the major professional sports anyway.
Did you see who pitched for the Texas Rangers tonight?
No.
Holland. Do you know how many players they've used this season?
60.
That is the 60th player they've used this season.
That's a record.
It's incredible.
They're playing in Kansas City, and it's 1-1 in the bottom of the 6th in a very important game for the Royals. Rangers glad to get Holland back, but this is his very first start of the year. Fastball and a crisp one takes the count to 1-2 now. You hear that mitt pop all over the place.
He's daring Jake to hit that one.
Holland's still in that game, Blummer. 5 2/3 innings, 1 run allowed against Jeremy Guthrie.
Should be well rested.
Oh yeah. In the dirt, and it's 2-2. And some people have suggested, rather than allow teams to use potentially 36 players in a major league game in September, limit it to 25. Designate a different 25 if you wish each night.
Are you kidding me? Wouldn't that be a lot of fun? My goodness, who's hot, who's not?
Yeah. Or maybe 28.
Who's your favorite?
Exactly. Foul back. The point being, I would think, wouldn't you, that contending teams call up more players just because they want to safeguard against an 18-inning game, and they do not want to run out of players. They just want to do everything they can to avoid losing when they're in the hunt like that.
No, it's true. It happens, and some teams abuse it, some teams don't. I just like the fact that it's an opportunity for some guys to get some exposure at the big league level.
3-2.
Some of these teams clinch early, maybe have a week of games that don't matter as much because they've already made their playoff berth. So you can rotate some days off or realign your rotation going into the playoffs. But yeah, there's some teams that get a little crazy with it and abuse it.
In the air to center field. Trout headed back. Both runners are tagging. He makes the catch for out number 2. Both runners advance. 7-0 Houston on a sac fly by Marisnik. His 8th run batted in.
Another great at bat by Jake Marisnik here at Minute Maid Park. Also doubled his previous at bat. Got a ton of fastballs from Bedrosian. Finally squares one up and deep enough to advance both runners on this. Showing a good bat on those fastballs down. Plenty deep enough for Chris Carter to rumble home.
Jason Castro rumbled to third. 7-0 lead for the Astros, and it's John Singleton batting. He struck out and popped up. White Sox 3, Twins 3. They're in the top of the 6th in Minnesota for Hector Noesi. And Tommy Malone got the start for the Twins. He's gone now. There's a strike. Tommy Lawless was asked about his lineups and what they will be like in the month of September. He plans to change them. Plans to look at different players to accommodate these September call-ups. But he said, we have a couple of guys who have big personal milestones possible that they can achieve. Jose Altuve and Chris Carter. So they'll probably play every day.
You got to. These guys aren't going to cave in. They're going to keep battling against some of these contenders and try and ruin their postseason chances or have an effect on how things align.
In tight to Singleton, that makes it 2-1 to John. Petit is on deck. Astros got 3 in the first. They've played add-on with single runs in the third and fourth, and now 2 more runs home so far in the fifth. 3-1 the count. Owen Ryan is out at the ballpark tonight. Don Sanders is here. Milo Hamilton came out to celebrate his 87th birthday. Ryan Sanders baseball there, and Nolan and Don. Reed, of course, is here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Jeff Blum is here. We do that.
Just a little bit of love, Brownie. I'm kidding with you. No, those are some big names here. A lot going on around this organization right now.
Yeah, they took the time to come up and celebrate with Milo. Foul back. Well, the managerial search has effectively begun. And Tom Lawless was asked in his remarks to the media today, what would you do to put your hat in the ring to become a candidate if you were interested? He said, oh, I think that would be determined, and that won't be in my hands. But he is certainly interested in this opportunity, the opportunity of a lifetime for Tom Lawless. That's tap foul.
He's got to be one of the guys in the running. I mean, he's here for one, but he also has been in this organization for a while. So a lot of these young kids coming up, he knows this farm system extremely well. He's worked with a lot of these kids moving up through the ranks. And having him here might be a certain comfort level for some of these kids that do get called up.
It might be. He's worked for the Angels, the Mets, the Cardinals, the Padres, and the Orioles. Singleton takes a walk. Second walk of the game for Angels pitching. And now a visit to the mound. Bedrosian, who's come in here in the 5th inning and allowed a couple of runs. And there was an error made by Beckham in the inning, but that's going to hasten the departure of Cam Bedrosian. He's being called out of this game with a score: Houston 7, the Angels nothing. Back in a moment.
There's 2 outs in this pitching change. Astros, Dynamo, Rockets, and more. We have all your sports news covered. Check out Sportsnet Central weeknights at 6, 10, and midnight on Comcast Sportsnet. Your home for your home teams.
Pitcher number 4 comes in. He is Vinny Pastano. He was obtained in a deal with the Cleveland Indians. Made his Angels debut on August 10th. Then he went down to the minor leagues and was recalled from AAA Salt Lake prior to tonight's game. This will be his second stint with the Angels. In 14 games, he's 0-1 with a 4.50 ERA. He was picked up in a trade for Michael Clevenger August 7th. Pitched 13 times for the Indians this year. Gregorio Petit's the batter. He's 0 for 2.
Kind of slings it in there, sidearm style, 16 strikeouts in 10 innings.
That's ball 1. That ball comes at the hitter from a totally different angle with a guy like Pestano throwing it.
It's guys like this are the reason switch hitters exist.
That's the truth.
Would not want to face this guy right on right.
Well, it's such a different angle if you're trying to pick up the baseball, right?
Yeah, because typically you're looking at the logo on the hat with most guys throwing over the top, and then you can kind of adjust to where the release point is. But when you get guys like this, you're just kind of looking off out of the side of the body, and it's tough to pick up.
2 balls, 1 strike. The ball reacts differently when it comes out of a guy's hand from that angle.
You know what, too, is you like you said, Brandon, you have these contending teams that call up these guys and you max out your roster space, but you're also bringing up some guys and putting them in situations in a contending type season that they really haven't been in. They may have been in it maybe in AA, AAA, but here in the show, it's a lot different.
Oh, yes. Foul back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. If somebody were to ask you, what's the biggest difference between playing at AAA and being in the major leagues, what would your answer be?
Speed of the game, believe it or not. I think guys throw a lot harder here. Guys run a lot faster, much harder on a consistent basis, even though you're going to get some guys that slack a little bit and kind of jog it out. But the ball is being hit harder. The ball is being thrown harder.
And a strikeout for Pestano ends it in the 5th. The Astros tack on 2 runs on 2 hits with an error. They leave 2, and they're up 7-zip.
Nothing on the Angels, and time to introduce you to our progressive fan of the game. I have Guillermo from Humble, and he's got his Astros jersey on. He's an Astros fan, but you had me fooled because you told me you're from California. The Angels are here.
Yeah.
Explain that to me.
Well, I grew up an Astros fan and always will be.
Even in living in California?
Even living in California.
Well, can you explain this guy? What's he doing over there?
Well, that's my best friend right there. He's an Angels fan. We just moved from California over here about a year ago, and showing them a good time here at Minute Maid Park.
You said your favorite player now is Jose Altuve. What's it been like watching him tonight?
Awesome. Great guy. Oh, yeah. Phenomenal.
Enjoy the game.
Thank you.
Watch out for this one. Brownie, back to you.
Notice there's a seat in between them, Julia. Gordon Beckham leads it off in the 6th inning. It's 7-0 Astros. And there's a strike to Beckham, who has the only hit through 5 for the Angels. That was a single over shortstop. There's been only a second base runner through 5 against Peacock on a walk. Iannetta with 2 outs in the 5th. Fastball foul back, and it's 0-2. This has been Brad Peacock pitching very well so far tonight. Beginning inning number 6. Last time he's gone 6 innings or more. That was back on June 27th here against Detroit. He went 6 2/3. That's pulled and it's fair. It kicks out towards center field. Here's Robbie Grossman coming for it, and it's a leadoff single for Beckham. He's 2 for 2.
Only 2 hits of the night are off of Beckham's bat. He's the only one that's picking the ball up off of Peacock. Stay back on that breaking ball. Shot it down that line. Good play by Robbie over there on the carom to keep him at first base. Double play in order.
That could be big for Peacock to have this double play in order. Calhoun the batter. Calhoun 0 for 2 and 0 for his last 21 now. He takes, and it's strike 1 for Peacock. Oklahoma City's season ended yesterday with an 11-1 loss to Iowa. Corpus Christi's season ended. Corpus Christi won 8-4 over San Antonio. Oklahoma City really flirted with a playoff spot, but then fell out of it at the end. Foul back, and it's 0-2. So the call-ups are here. Max Stassi among those, giving the Astros a 3rd catcher. That's something I don't know if there's a major league club plumber without at least 3 catchers here in September.
Yeah, you've got to this late in the season.
Lancaster will be heading into the playoffs after a 78-62 finish in the California League. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Jethawks won the first half of their division, and they will play the winner of a mini series between Inland Empire and Lake Elsinore. Semifinals begin Saturday. They'll have some time off to rest their pitching staff. That's a liner over shortstop into left center field. Grossman going for it. Fowler rounds it, picks it up, and fires into second base. There's a play there. Altuve with a dive, and he gets him on the tag. That's a mistake as Calhoun is gunned out. For out number 1, the Angels cannot afford to make outs on the bases, trailing 7-0 with Beckham going to 3rd.
Well, a lot of Angel baseball that's been predicated by Mike Scioscia has been trying to take that extra base, but do it wisely. This is not wise right here. It's a great piece of hitting and staying on that ball and shooting it into that left center field gap. But Dexter got to that ball, wasn't laying back at all, letting that ball play him. But Calhoun just gave the Astros an out, and that's the last thing you want to do.
Good
especially with these guys coming up that you got right now. Trout, Pujols, Hamilton.
Absolutely.
One swing of the bat could give you 3 runs.
It could. Good throw from Fowler for the outfield assist, getting into Altuve for the diving tag. Now it's Trout is 0 for 2. Yeah, that's something that really could hurt the Angels here. There's strike 1 to Trout. Trout, a man with 97 runs batted in. Pujols with 83, and Hamilton, of course, has been an MVP. His numbers are down this year, but those are the 3 guys who can really mash. Now they only have 1 base runner on. Trout has really been a force in this number 2 spot in the lineup, though, this year. That was an outstanding move by Mike Scioscia to bat him second in front of Pujols and then Hamilton. In the air and shallow right field. Marisnik take care of that one for out number 2. Boy, what he does is just fundamental baseball. He hits the cutoff man with a low clothesline throw. Has a laser arm.
Well, I'm sure he's got a reputation by now, too, with some of the tape they've been watching on Marisnik. Does a good job of going to the ball, getting in a good position to throw. And you can see it with the base runner at third base going halfway down the line. Granted, that ball wasn't hit very deep, but they knew right off the bat that they weren't going to have a chance to score.
Albert Pujols is 0 for 2.
Great pitch by Peacock, too, to get a guy like Mike Trout to pop out like that.
He has pitched him tough tonight. That's ball 1. Peacock trying for win number 4 of the season. Would be 3-0 against the Angels in his career if he can beat them. In the air to center, chasing Fowler back. Fowler with those long strides, turning, and he dropped the ball. He played it casually. The run scores, and he throws it over to Marisnik now on a ball that's misplayed for an error by Fowler, and Pujols gets into second base on the error, the 4th of the year by Fowler.
You got to be upset if you're Brad Peacock. That ball was smoked by Albert Pujols, but at the same time, your center fielder's back there and has a play on it. But you can see a little bit of the showtime comes out right now and nips off the end of the glove, and he doesn't make the catch. And then panic sets in, and he fires a bullet to his right fielder for some reason. No reason for that to happen.
Now it's Josh Hamilton batting with a score 7-1. And he grounds it foul for strike 1. Hamilton's 0 for 2, 2 ground outs.
It's one way to test the patience of your new manager.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that'll ruin some cuticles, or at the end of the nail there. Jeez.
No balls, 2 strikes. A chance for Peacock to pick up his team after the error by Fowler, allowing the Angels' first run to score.
Well, if there's any saving grace out of it, it's not an earned run for Brad Peacock, who's been pitching great. But now with that error, you're adding a couple more pitches to that pitch count.
And he strikes out Hamilton. He provides a lift for the Astros, picking up strikeout number 5. 1 run scores on 2 hits with 1 error and 1 left. 7-1 Houston.
Back to the young man who was raking this year, Jose Altuve, talked to Enos Cabell earlier in the game and said, "I'm going deep tonight, watch." And there you've got the proof. Found himself a fastball up out of the plate against C.J. Wilson, went out and attacked it and launched it into the Crawford boxes for his 8th home run of the season. New career high for Altuve also on a season of career highs for Jose Altuve.
Jose Alvarez is warming up in the bullpen as Vinny Pestano works to Robbie Grossman. There is strike 1. Grossman has provided a pair of doubles. 1 drove in a run. He has also scored. He's 2 for 3 tonight. The Astros have out-hit the Halos 11-3, each club with 1 error. Grossman looks at 1 in tight, 1-1. Totally different situation now for a guy like Robbie, and you talked about switch hitting earlier against Pestano with his delivery. because those pitches tend to flatten out some against a left-handed batter compared to right-handed hitters trying to hit him.
Well, it's interesting too. It's not as easy to pitch inside to a left-handed hitter for these guys that kind of throw sidearm. It's kind of across their body, across the plate. It's a little dangerous with as much movement throwing sidearm creates.
Yeah.
But the last couple pitches he set up in there, usually they try and throw that slider to get in the kitchen of left-handed hitters.
2-2. Pistano is from Cal State Fullerton.
It's just down the street from Anaheim Stadium.
They have been pulling in some big crowds. Pitch inside, ball 3. 3-2 now. Well, the Angels, of course, have a very high payroll. Artie Moreno, their owner, going all out to win. They've already drawn an average of 38,558 this season. 2.7 million in home attendance so far. Foul back. And they've done well. They're 47-24 at home, but on the road 36-29. So they travel well, and they've had a great month of August. They're going to be very difficult for Oakland to overtake. Flared foul. Beckham with the catch. One out in the home 6th. Angels are 8-8 against Oakland this season. Jose Altuve has a 2-hit game so far. With a single and a homer, he has stolen a base and scored twice. He now has scored 75 runs this year. The count is 191 on the hit meter for Jose. And make it 192 as he dumps one over the head of Kendrick. Another 3-hit game. He's had 22 3-hit games.
I'm actually more impressed that the fan in the stands was that prepared to have a 192 put up that quick. But you have to be that quick with Jose Altuve. It's just ho-hum another day, another hit, another 3 hits. The multi-hit game is just racking up for Jose Altuve, and if it's out over the plate and he has a chance to put his bat on it, he's going to swing it.
Great bad ball hitter. Went for a shoulder high pitch that time. Fowler puts it out of play. Strike 1. Fowler has a pair of hits and a walk. Has scored 2 runs tonight. Altuve has just put on an absolutely incredible show this year of hand-eye coordination.
Tell you what, he's with the one guy in the league that could absolutely blow a hole into the Moneyball philosophy of taking pitches and walking your way on base. Only 31 walks for Jose Altuve and 562 at bats.
He's hit the first pitch the last 2 times up. 2 balls and a strike.
That's how I remember guys like Tony Gwynn and Don Mattingly and Wade Boggs. You know, that's how those guys got on base. They found a pitch they could barrel up. They were going to do it and get a knock.
In tight to Fowler. Altuve has seen 7 pitches tonight in his 4 at-bats. He's 3 for 4.
Even he's giggling at it.
Three and 2. So Pujols and Altuve. They were playfully engaging, a little shoving before the game. Pujols did all the shoving. But that's a sign of respect.
Yeah, I think after what's happening this season for Jose Altuve, making his 2nd All-Star team, he's getting noticed.
Fowler's down on strikes. Strikeout number 2 for Pistano. Number 6 for Angel pitching. Chris Carter bats.
It's the first time they've gotten Fowler out this evening.
Yes. So Fowler moving into the 3 spot tonight ahead of Carter. Fowler's done very well. Carter is 1 for 3 with an RBI single. In the Houston first, when the Astros got 3 runs on 5 hits, he delivered one of those. Foul ball for strike one. Orioles 5, Reds 3. They're in the top of the 4th in Baltimore with Bud Norris pitching. Jonathan Scope hit his 13th home run. Cubs 7, Brewers 1, top of the 7th in Chicago. 1 ball, 1 strike. Milwaukee has dropped out of sole possession of first place for the first time in a long time in the National League Central, and Milwaukee is 1 game behind St. Louis. 6-game losing streak for the Brew Crew. 2 balls and a strike. The Cubs are not a team many people would want to play right now. They have these young players and talented players, the Jorge Solers, who really are wanting to make an impact here in September. And they're doing it. 3 balls and a strike. Javier Baez is in the lineup tonight for the Cubs. Soler, Alcantara. They have more on the way. Jake Arrieta started. He went well for 6 innings, 1 run. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Giovanni Gallardo was torched. Milwaukee starter in 5 innings, giving up 8 hits and 7 runs, 5 of them earned. And Alcantara hit his 8th. Runner going, and it's strike 3. Carter caught looking to end the Astros 6th. No runs, a hit, and a man stranded through 6, 7-1 Astros.
Carr, big right-hander. Jared Weaver going for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, taking that 15-7 record to the mound. 6 starts in August, doing quite well at 4-1, and this is the time you want your ace to go out there and pitch well. Colin McHugh, probably the biggest surprise in that Astros rotation, going on the mound for the Houston Astros. That ERA under 3. Looking to try and continue that. He's having himself a great August also, 3-0.
Howie Kendrick leads it off against Brad Peacock, 7-1 Astros. There's a first pitch strike at 92 to begin the 7th inning. Kendrick is 0 for 2. Weaver and McHugh squared off, and it was a great game in Anaheim back on May 21st. Weaver winning it 2-1 with a 2-hitter over the head of Howie Kendrick. 1-1. Kevin Chapman's warming up for Houston.
Tell you what, Orbit, it's a good thing he wasn't in the vicinity. Might have hit that great big cranium of his.
Yeah.
Well, that was great. Whoops.
Kendrick takes a look at it. It's a ball to make it 2-1. Does it do anything for you when you're hitting and a pitcher yells when the ball's about to Head for your cranium.
That actually happens. Where I've been at the plate, and I mean, even catchers, I'll hear the catcher go, "Look out," you know, real quick. But there's been a couple times where the pitcher will do something like that. You know, it just gets away from them. You know, they're not doing it intentionally, but as soon as they let it go, they're like, "Wait!" You know, you hear them scream or something like that. So it kind of indicates that's not what they were intending to do.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Just wondering at the speed of the pitch baseball and the speed of sound, once that reaches your ears, what do you compute the reaction time to be for you to go sprawling in the dirt?
Well, it happens pretty quick, actually, because it's such an unorthodox thing to hear that your immediate reaction is just to flee.
That's ball 4, leadoff walk here for Kendrick. Walk number 2 of the night for Peacock. Sometimes a pitcher can be unnerved by throwing one over the hitter's head, because that's how far he missed his target. 6 2/3 innings is his high in a game this season. Now it's Ibar batting. Ibar has hit the ball in the air twice. Dominguez creeps in at third base. Ibar takes it. There's ball 1 to him. 94 pitches for Peacock as Chapman warms up. Ibar on this career-long 16-game hitting streak, and now Brent Strom is coming out. May have seen something in the delivery of Peacock that he feels needs some attention right now. Ibar has hit .450 during his 16-game hitting streak.
Well, Peacock saw a couple of the breaking balls not go anywhere near where he wanted them to. And we've seen Peacock lose location when he gets fatigued a little bit, and that ball starts to rise and starts getting hit around. But with the way he's been pitching tonight, which has been great, only 1 walk. So Stromy doesn't want this to get out of control for Brad Peacock. He wants him to leave with a good taste in his mouth and have him continue to get back, and maybe just give him a breather right there.
Now it's Ibar with a 1-0 pitch coming. Shooting it in the air to left field, backing up Grossman over Grossman's head. That one goes high off the wall, kicks back in, and here's the throw into second base. It's a double. So Ibar extends his career-long streak to 17 games, and the Angels have something working with nobody out and 2 men on. 27th double for Ibar. It looked like he was flirting with a home run there.
Well, you had mentioned he's having a pretty good year driving the ball. Averages up, RBIs are up. But he also said that he was beating some of the shifts that were being put on him by going the other way, and gets himself a fastball away. And showing some pretty good pop going that way, too.
Yeah, he took it a good distance to left field. Now it's Iannetta batting. So 17-game streak for Ibar. And the curve comes in for strike 1. Iannetta has seen this diet of early breaking stuff in the count, Plummer.
Sure has. You're right on it, Brownie. Iannetta comes into this game swinging a good bat. He's known to be able to hit a good fastball. Therefore, Peacock's starting him off, and it's good to see he had command to throw it for a strike.
1-1. If you're in Iannetta's shoes and you're seeing this pattern, do you expect it to repeat until you do something to counteract that pitching pattern?
Well, normally pitchers will go after a weakness they think you have until you make the adjustment. So it might be Iannetta's turn to adjust to that off-speed pitch and hit it. But Peacock's going to keep throwing it until Iannetta does hit it.
15,245 to paid attendance. In the air to center field. Fowler over. Both runners are tagging with nobody out. Here's Fowler with the catch. He'll throw toward third as the run scores. It's cut off, and it's 7-2 on the sac fly by Iannetta. His 39th run batted in. Brendan Bosch will come up with Ibar at second.
There's another hanging slider.
And that's what will precede the pitching change here from Tom Lawless. 6 1/3 innings tonight from Peacock, close to his longest start of the year. That is his longest since he went 6 2/3 here against Detroit. June 27th. Brad Peacock could be a winner for the 4th time this year. Nice ovation from Astros fans for Brad Peacock, who retired the first 8 tonight. And he leads with the score 7-2 Astros. Kevin
Astros with a 7-2 lead. Get it, Orbit. Take advantage of one of the best bargains in Minute Maid Park with the Coca-Cola Value Days package, available with specially marked Coke products. The package includes a ticket, hot dog, popcorn, and a bottle of Coke for just $16. Visit Astros.com for more info. Don't challenge Orbit to a dance-off. Wow.
Has he had an energy drink again tonight? Brad Peacock goes 6 1/3 innings, allows 2 runs, 1 earned on 4 hits, walking 2, fanning 5. Last 3 starts, has a 1.66 ERA. He gives way to lefty Kevin Chapman, and with that, the pinch hitter comes up. Grant Green, a right-handed batter, hitting for Brennan Bosch. Chapman's 1-0. His ERA 7.82. And of course, all these September managers have players to burn, and they will burn some. Green takes a look at it. It's ball 1. Bosch was 0 for 2 when he was in the game. Green, 26 years old, and .395 his average against lefties, with 3 runs batted in. He's had 80 at bats this season for the Angels, formerly with Oakland. Ground ball and charged by Petit. He zips it over to Singleton. 2 outs. Petit's looked pretty good.
He does look good. Played some third base, some shortstop, makes all the routine plays. He'll make a great play every once in a while. Had some good quality at bats, pinch runs, scored some big runs for the Houston Astros. He's getting noticed.
That's what September's about for a lot of these players. Gordon Beckham batting 9th tonight is 2 for 2. 2 of the 4 Angel hits have come from Beckham. Blue Jays top the Rays tonight 8-2 in St. Petersburg. That's ball 1 to Beckham. R.A. Dickey won. He's now 11-12, beating Jeremy Hellickson. Jose Reyes hit his 9th. Deanna Navarro number 11. Danny Valencia number 4. Blue Jays are now 3 games above 500. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Rays are 67-72 right now. Their bench coach Dave Martinez interviewed for the Astros managerial opening a couple of years ago. His name is being thrown out there by the media as a possibility for the next full-time Houston managerial job. Strike, and it's 1-2. Jeff Luhnow is quoted tonight by Evan Drellick in a tweet saying, "My phone's been blowing up. Everybody I know in the industry is recommending somebody." And the same thing for Reed Ryan and Jim Crane.
Probably want to manage some of that young talent that's coming up in the next couple years.
Yes. Chapman deals, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Chapman with this September opportunity to finish the season in a strong fashion, put in his bid for next year's bullpen. Last time out, he allowed a solo homer to Coco Crisp in 1 inning Wednesday against Oakland. This one drifts out of play. Kevin has inherited 10 runners, and only one of those has scored. This is his 3rd stint with the Astros this year. Pitched very well in the PCL with Oklahoma City with a 1.23 ERA. And he has struck out 64 in 44 innings at that stop. It's 3-2.
Yeah, but at this level, it's just been walks. Yep. That is the one thing that has come back to haunt Kevin Chapman.
There have been 10 of those in 12 2/3 innings to go with 13 punch-outs. The Mariners and Oakland underway, no score, top of the 3rd. Fly ball out to right center field. This could split the gap. It does get down. Run number 3 will score. Green into second base. He'll check in there with Beckham with the RBI double. So Beckham gets his 3rd straight hit. And that's his 25th double of the year, giving him 42 runs batted in for Beckham.
Get to a 3-2 count, sit on that fastball, and you get one right down the middle. This is what you're supposed to do with it. Gordon Beckham just drives it. Ibar scoring easy from second base. Nice 2-out RBI for Gordon.
Now a 4-run lead for Houston. Cole Calhoun bats. There is bullpen action for the Astros. Right-hander Jose Veras warms up. Calhoun is 1 for 3. Ball 1 to Calhoun. Brad Peacock's in 6 1/3 innings. Peacock allowed 4 hits and 3 runs, 2 earned. Walking 2, Fanning 5. Mets beat the Marlins in Miami 8-6. Jonathan Neese going to 8-10, beating Brad Penny, who's 1-1. Mejia got his 22nd save. In for a strike for a 1-1 count. Stanton his 35th home run. And he hit it in that large ballpark in Miami.
He'd probably have 52 if you cut a couple of those home runs in half.
Boy. He hits the tape measure shots in the air, and there's a shortstop Petit waiting for it. To end it in the 7th inning, a scoring frame for the Angels. 2 runs coming home on 2 hits. They leave a man, and it's 7-3 Astros in the 7th.
Earlier on Twitter, we asked y'all which September call-up of the Astros are you most excited about and why? Here's some of the responses. J.D. White Mamba tweets, I want to see Max Stassi. He's shown pop with the bat at AAA OKC and is at that age where you want to see him start maturing. Astrology tweets, Nick Nitro Tropiano. He led the PCL in ERA, whip, and opponent batting average, and it'll be his MLB debut the first time he pitches. And by the way, Tropiano was speaking before the game. He was ecstatic about coming up and said this was a dream come true. Thank you very much for tweeting me at HoChenCSN. Guys, over to you.
Thank you, Howard. Enjoy that part of the game. Wade LeBlanc comes in. He is pitcher number 5 for the Angels. And in 3 games with the Angels and Yankees. 0-1 with a 10.13 ERA. He's coming back close to home on this trip, Lummer. He's from Lake Charles, Louisiana. And was with Miami and Houston in 2013. So we've seen a little bit of Wade. A 7-3 ball game. The Astros have out-hit the Angels 12-5, each club with 1 error. Vinny Pestano went an inning and a third. He gave up 1 hit, no runs with no walks, struck out 3. Jason Castro has a pair of hits and a pair of runs batted in. He has a sac fly, a single, and a double. He gets a first pitch hook, and it's good for strike 1. LeBlanc delivers, and it's 0-2. LeBlanc, one of the 4 pitching September call-ups for the Halos. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Astros down on strikes. That's 1 out in the home 7th inning. Strikeout number 8 for Halos pitching.
After 3 really good at-bats from Jason Castro, that one didn't look as comfortable. Maybe had a tough time picking it up, but Wade LeBlanc got the best of Jason Castro.
That's 1 out. Now Matt Dominguez, he's 1 for 3. Marisnik is on deck. Roll to third base for Beckham. 2 outs. The Angels pitchers had allowed only 1 run in the previous 31 innings coming into this game. Had a 29-inning scoreless streak against Oakland. That was snapped in the 8th inning on Sunday. That was their 3rd longest in Angels history. Now Marisnik. Jake with a double in the 4th inning, added a sac fly in the 5th. And for the Astros, who played add-on, that has really helped them because the Angels have scored the last 3 runs in this game after trailing 7-0. Strike 1. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. 10-game road trip for the Angels, who have won 15 of their last 19. And for the Astros, who have this tough stretch of games ahead, this could be a very good springboard. Full foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. They were also close to winning 2 of 3 from Oakland before taking 3 of 4 from Texas. That final game in the Oakland series, they took a lead to the 9th inning of 3-2. The A's erupted with 3 and beat them 5-4. Otherwise, Houston would have won 2 of the 3 games from the A's. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's a measuring stick, though, for this young Astros team to play these contenders here in the month of September when they're really bent on winning every single game. They're hard to beat. Marisnik strikes out. We move to the 8th inning with the score 7-3 Houston.
as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game tonight. It's John Ziesemer, I believe. I hope I'm not messing with his name. Okay, so an autograph ball. That looks a lot like Alan Ashby's autograph. I need the guys in the booth to help me on that. But as promised, or excuse me, tweet your photo to hashtag CSNH fan photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by AT&T. This autograph has me thrown off here. Does that look like Ash, guys?
Well, we think it does. We're going to go along with Ash. That's a good call, Julia.
Looks like there's a couple of A's in there that qualify.
Josh Fields throws the first pitch here in the 8th inning. It's fouled away by Mike Trout. And that's strike one for Fields. Pitcher number 3 of the night, taking over for Houston. Fields has put together a good streak of work. The last 6 times to the mound, he has not been charged with a run. He's 4-6 with a 4.73 ERA. Good walk to strikeout ratio, and he gets in front of Trout. No balls, 2 strikes. After Kevin Chapman works 2/3 of an inning, allowing 1 hit, no runs, with no walks, no strikeouts. Three games are left for the Astros after this one tonight. They're shooting for win number 60. Good fastball. Strikes out Trout. He's 0 for 4 tonight with 2 punchouts. That's 153 strikeouts for Trout.
It's good old-fashioned country fastball. Come and get it. And that's the one place you can get Mike Trout, is elevate that fastball in 2 strikes. He has a tough time catching up to it.
Albert Pujols is the batter. Boy, has he done a lot of damage down through the years against the Astros and in this ballpark both. 0 for 3 tonight. Fly ball center field. Fowler waiting. 2 outs for Fields. And Hamilton will be next.
Labor Day sales, save 50% and get MLB.com at-bat premium features for only $4.99. Follow every Astros game the rest of the season with MLB.com at-bat on your favorite smartphone or tablet. At-bat delivers live Astros baseball wherever you are. Download the #1 app for live Astros baseball on the App Store today. Sale ends soon. Visit Astros.com for complete details.
Josh Hamilton, the batter. He's 0 for 3. Fouls it for strike 1. Over the last 70 years, the only years in which there were no managerial changes are 2000 and 2006. There was only 1 during the year last year, the Phillies. Well, it used to be common 6-7 times a year. Teams would change managers, right?
Yeah, all these leagues are turning into what have you done for me lately?
Tom Lawless is the 6th consecutive man to be named Astros manager who had no major league managerial experience. The 5 before him were Cecil Cooper, Dave Clark, Brad Mills, Tony DeFrancesco, and Bo Porter. Struck him out. That's a 1-2-3 8th inning for Josh Fields. We go to the last of the 8th, 7-3 Houston.
7-3, and it's time now for the Mako big hit of the game. It comes off the bat of Robbie Grossman. This is a big hit for that 5th run for the Houston Astros. It was a 2-out RBI, driving in Jake Marisnick, who led off the inning with a double. Robbie swinging a hot bat, driving in a big run.
Now the Astros come up leading 7-3, thanks to, in part, that Robbie Grossman double that made it 5-0. They've had some working room here. Singleton is 0 for 2 with a walk. That's in the air, and Gordon Beckham goes for it into foul territory. Another high pop-up. Well, there have been a bunch of those for John this homestand.
Watch the barrel go underneath the shoulder. As soon as that barrel gets underneath the shoulder when you're trying to go after the baseball, that's what creates that loop and that swing and creates towering pop-outs.
We're going to count up how many he's had. Astros and Angels 7-3. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Bill Brown, Jeff Blum, Julia Morales, Howard Chen with you tonight. And we're glad you're with us. It's Gregorio Petit batting. The Astros got 3 in the first to get them off and running tonight against starter C.J. Wilson of the Angels. Ball 1-2 Petit. Singleton has popped up twice tonight. He popped up twice on Sunday. Yeah, he's been getting into that pattern. Had a couple of pop-ups on Friday, so 2 per game in his last 3. 2 balls, no strikes. They're still in a rain delay. Orioles 5, Reds nothing. Bottom of the 5th. Petit swings at it to make it a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Bud Norris went 5 shutout before that game was interrupted by rain. So it's now official with Baltimore leading 5-0. Two balls, 2 strikes to Petit with Grossman on deck. Milwaukee trails at Chicago 7-1. The Cubs lead it. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning. That could be a damaging loss to the Brewers. Trying to right a reeling ship. Between third and short, on through into left field. Petit joins the hit parade.
Salvage right here by Greg Pettit, going down to get that one. Doesn't have to be pretty. Hits is hits. It's a nice way to potentially finish off your day, squeaking that knock through that 5.5 hole.
Total of 13 Astro hits off this Angel pitching staff, which had really had a great series previously against Oakland. Robbie Grossman has a pair of doubles. An RBI and a run scored for Robbie. He looks at ball 1. Wade LeBlanc, pitcher number 5 for the Halos tonight. It's Jared Weaver for them tomorrow night. Weaver's 15-7 with a 3.57 ERA. Colin McHugh can sport an ERA even better than that. He'll be his mound opponent. Colin checks in at 2.99 now with 7 wins, 9 losses. Michael Morin is warming up for the Angels now. It's like Matt Clark is playing first base for Milwaukee right now. Foul tip makes it a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Kansas City is leading Texas 2-1. They're in the top of the 9th inning at KC. For every game precious for the Royals and Detroit and Cleveland especially. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Aaron Crow's in the game for Kansas City, trying to close out Texas. A nice return to the rotation for the Rangers for Derek Holland tonight. 7 innings, 1 run allowed. Foul away. A lot of folks rooting for that Kansas City club. Not only Royals fans, but in general fans of small market baseball, because the Royals have not been to the playoffs since '85. That's the longest drought. And And they have spent more money this year. They've really gone for it with James Shields and the other guys they've picked up. Plummer.
That bullpen's ridiculous that they have. Every guy coming out of that Royals bullpen throwing 95+ miles an hour to go with that starting staff that they've got.
You're right.
They play great defense. They don't drive the ball out of the ballpark, but there's that timely hitting. But the combination of good hitting and defense is what's winning your ball games.
Alex Gordon has been a rampaging hitter in the month of August. Royals hope that continues for a few more weeks. In tight to Grossman. It's ball 2. It's St. Louis 6, Pittsburgh 4. They're in the middle of the 8th inning. Cardinals are coming on now with Yadier Molina returning to their lineup. Runner takes off. There's a swing and a fly ball hit into center field. Here goes Petit from first to third. A little looping line drive by Grossman. Third hit of the night for Grossman. He's been swinging well as a right-handed batter in this game.
With Petit going off on that pitch, gets into third base easily on that line drive to center. The Astros have really got things going, and Mike Scioscia's putting in some laps.
Well, his club down by 4. He'll have Kendrick, Ibar, and Iannetta do up in the 9th inning. And he wants to put a stop on the Astros right here. Runners at first and third, 1 out. He has the extra bullpen arms to do it. He's calling in pitcher number 6 in just a moment with the Astros up 7-3. Altuve, the last 9 games, hitting .421. He has 7 hits in the last 2. He's up to .339. He continues to lead the majors. That's the highest his average has been since August 19th.
Altuve, loosely translated in the Venezuelan language, is rake. Because that's all he does is go up there and rake. And it doesn't matter what John Maley says. Everything sounds good to Jose Altuve right now.
Maley evidently showing him the scouting report on the new pitcher, Mike Morin. Pitcher number 6 in this game has just been called in by Mike Scioscia.
And I know what that scouting report said. It said he can't beat you.
3-3 with a 2.59 ERA. Excellent numbers for Mike Morin. Runners at first and third, 1 out. Altuve's 3 for 4. And there's a shot to left field. Altuve with hit number 4 of the game. Bangs it off the wall. RBI. Here's the throw to third base. Runner safe. Altuve into second. 8-3 Houston. He is a hit monster. Back-to-back 4-hit games for Jose Altuve. 193.
Well, what to do? Another hit, huh? This guy's unbelievable. All you got to do is touch it. Tell you what, if you're stranded on an island and they ask you to bring one thing, I'm bringing Altuve's bat because it is the hottest thing on the planet right now. My goodness.
Fifth four-hit game of the season, tied for first in the majors. Now an intentional walk to Fowler. Let's see if that was ruled a double. It was ruled a double for Altuve. That's his 38th double. And his second RBI of the night, giving him 47 runs batted in. He deserves his special cheering section, and a larger one, in fact. Intentional walk puts Fowler on.
5 4-hit games.
5 4-hit games.
So in 5 games, he's only got 20 hits.
20 hits.
My goodness.
Special player, and it could be the first ever Houston batting champ. Now Chris Carter as the bases loaded and 1 out. 5-run lead for Houston. 15 total hits for the Astros. The Angels have 5. That's strike 1 to Carter. He's 1 for 4 tonight with an RBI.
Altuve is going to be pretty ticked off when the season ends, isn't he? He just wants to keep going. You're this hot for this long. You just want to keep playing.
Off speed, that makes it 0-2. Even though the month of April was not a great one for Jose, he's just been so consistent this year. That was his worst month, and he hit 276. At 32 hits in April, that's the lowest total he's had in a month. Way outside, and it's 1-2. That's the 8th time in Astros history there's been a hitter with back-to-back 4-hit games. Wow. Carter fouls it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. When the night began, Altuve led the league in batting average, in hits, in steals, in 2-hit games, in 3-hit games, in 4-hit games, in infield hits. Carter strikes out. 2 outs. Now it's Castro with the bases loaded. Castro with a pair of hits himself tonight. 2 runs batted in. Two grand slams in Jason's career. One of them on this homestand. Dominguez on deck. Cardinals are batting in the bottom of the 8th, up on the Pirates 6-4. Adam Wainwright started in 6 innings. He gave up 4 runs. Jeff Locke lasted only 3 as the Pirates starter. Russell Martin hit his 8th for Pittsburgh. That's out to center field. Trout with the catch. And the Astros on Altuve's 4th hit of the night score a run. 3 hits, 3 men left. We go to the 9th. And the Astros lead it 8-3. Houston Astros baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Here at Minute Maid Park, where the Astros are 33-39, they've had a good night of it. They lead at 8-3. We go to the ninth inning. Josh Fields is back out on the mound after a 1-2-3-8, throwing just a few pitches. Howie Kendrick leads it off in the ninth. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and scored a run. Here's strike one to Fields. Trying to finish it for Brad Peacock, who would be 4-8 with a win tonight. The Astros trying to put the damper on a 6-game Angel winning streak. In the air, foul, and this one goes back into the seats. No balls, 2 strikes for Josh Fields. Usually he pitches 1 inning at a time. He pitched 1 2/3 here in beating Texas back on August 9th. He figured into the relief corps there, working an inning and 2/3 with no runs allowed. Had a couple innings in an extra inning game at Oakland back on July 22nd. That's the last time he worked 2 innings. But the pitch count is low. He's thrown 9 so far. And all have been strikes. There's number 10 in the strike department. Kendrick fouling it back. Fields just pitcher number 3 for Tom Lawless, making his major league managerial debut as the Astros interim skipper, taking over for Bo Porter today. He arrived from St. Louis last night. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's been a whirlwind for Tom Lawless. Meetings most of the day. He and Adam Everett, his new bench coach, have watched the Astros grab a 3-0 lead after 1 tonight. And they have just continued to pour on the hits. They've out-hit the Halos 15-5. Houston has stranded 9. 4 men left on for the Angels. Another foul ball drifts out of play. The Giants are putting it on the Rockies now, coming from behind with 5 in the 7th to lead at 9-7. Still batting in the top of the 7th inning. Yusmeiro Petit started for the Giants. He gave up 6 runs in 4 innings. Jordan Lyles gave up 6 earned runs in 6 1/3 for the Rocks. Rough night for the pitchers at Coors Field. Upstairs, 2-2.
Right here. Come on.
Buster Posey at his 19th home run tonight. That came off Jordan Lyles. Can the Giants do it? Boy, they have a tough team to overcome in the Dodgers if they are to win that division. Line shot deep to right field. Marisnik turning on it, going back at 1 hops and goes over the wall. A double for Kendrick. 26th 2-base hit of the year for Howie Kendrick. He just continues to rifle the ball to the opposite field.
Ball smoked. Good pitch to hit. Marisnik plays shallow, and I understand why you can do that in center field because you've got so much room to run. But in right field, you kind of, especially here at Minute Maid Park, you kind of want to keep, if you can, keep the ball in front of you. Play back a little bit, give yourself a better chance on some of those balls that get close to that wall.
Ibar's 1 for 3. Ball 1 to Ibar, who has extended his hitting streak to a career high 17 games tonight with a 7th inning double to left. Seattle leads Oakland 4-0, top of the 5th inning in Oakland. That could be a damaging setback for the A's if they don't turn it around. Tony Sipp is working for Houston in the bullpen. And it's 2-0. Fields up with that fastball. James Paxton has a 1-hitter through 4 for Seattle against Sonny Gray. Seattle got 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th off Gray. That great Oakland pitching is caving in this last time through the rotation. 3 balls, no strikes. Scott Kazmir really gave it up. 2 games in a row now. He's been hit hard.
I saw the signs of that when he was in Cleveland a little bit. Towards the end of that season when they were making their push last year, he seemed to fade a little bit. Some of the velocity, the innings started to go down a little bit. I wonder if the same thing is occurring in Oakland.
Possible. 3-1. The Angels swept that series from Oakland 4-3 in 10, 4-0, 2-0, and 8-1. They won the last 2 games of the Miami series. Fly ball out to Fowler in left center field. In for out number 1. Jose Altuve with 5 4-hit games this year. Jeff Blum with 6 in his career.
Man, I really appreciate that, guys. Thanks for pointing that out, Brownie.
But you had a 5-hit game, and he does not.
Yeah, that's right. Take that, kid. Think you're all cool with these silver bats and things you're going to get at the end of the year? Get you a 5-hit game and then come talk to me, kid. I'm just kidding.
Ionetta is 0 for 1 with a walk, sac fly, good cut there, fouls it back, strike 1. Just checking back through the batting champions, Plummer. Can you think of anybody who's been 5-6 who's won a batting title?
No.
Couldn't find any offhand. Unless you want to go back to the 1890s and Wee Willie Keeler. He was 5-4.
My goodness. I don't think my my Google app goes that deep. That's impressive.
Isn't that something? Not that he's done it yet. Still a month ahead with tough pitching. Popped up, Petit waiting. And the Astros will be facing some difficult pitching in the month ahead, won't they?
Yeah, that's putting it mildly, especially on the next road trip coming up here real quick where they go Oakland, Seattle, down to Anaheim. But I mean, you could run into that Seattle team and run into King Felix, Iwakuma, the left-hander Paxton, who's
tough.
Filthy. And when those guys are out of the game, then you got to face a bullpen who's got, a 2.5 ERA, I think, or something crazy like that. But yeah, that could get ugly real quick. But the only good thing is that the bats that we've seen the Astros take to Seattle have been pretty good.
Yep. Grant Green as a pinch hitter grounded out first time up. That was in the 7th. Fields delivering ball 1. Oh, a new manager. You expect some different patterns. And Tom Lawless will be using this bullpen in his fashion starting tonight. Fields trying to finish this by getting the final 6 outs. 1-1. I guess as a player you might think if you're struggling you get a fresh start when there's a new skipper, right?
Yeah. And that's one thing. You may have played one way with Bo Porter, but now you've got some turnover in your coaching staff, and you have a chance to go out there and finish strong for a whole month and impress that guy on your left right there. If you can get that guy in your corner and he goes to battle for you over a conference table, you might have a shot at making the team next year.
In the dirt. 2-1. Doug Fister and Clayton Kershaw dueling in Los Angeles. No score with Washington and the Dodgers after a couple.
And getting back to the pitching and bullpen situation for Lawless, he's got a great guy in Brent Strom to pick his brain, who's been here all year and worked well with these kids, and to knowing who's fresh, who's not, how to use them. There's going to be a lot of input from those other coaches that were here before.
Fly ball left field. Grossman back. Grossman at the edge of the wall, leaping, and Robbie got it. That's the way this one ends. An 8-3 Houston win in the first game, and skipper for Tom Lawless. He and Adam Everett shaking hands. John Maley coming over. And the Astros have knocked off the team with the best winning percentage in Major League Baseball. The Angels came in with a .610 winning percentage and a 6-game winning streak. In 3 hours and 13 minutes, the Astros did a lot of hitting. They out-hit the Halos 15-6, and they beat them. Final score with Brad Peacock winning over C.J. Wilson. Houston 8, the Angels 3.